Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Generational Beef Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan Terrell, as well as my dad.
Old Terrell, generational beef.
The beef! Let's go! Sorry we're a couple days late for you. You had to listen to my bland self on Wednesday talk by myself. That wasn't very good. But now we're back, regularly recorded programming. We're going to go over some NBA playoff talk, and as we're talking, Roger Goodell's walking up to the podium right now, so talk NFL draft picks as they come in, live react to them. Not live for y'all, but live for us.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be Fernando. It'd be a crazy change.
My gosh! Crazy! Fernando Mendoza, first overall to the Raiders. What a pick!
I mean, look, we've known this for months almost at this point.
We've known this since the Raiders had the number one pick.
Look, I think it's a great pick. They've got Clint Kubiak. I mean, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a great thing that they brought in Kurt. Whether he starts, doesn't start, plays the whole season, I don't know. I know you think that's unlikely. I think you're probably right. But I also think when you look back at some of the biggest successes at quarterback, especially when you're trying to change your franchise, a guy sits a little bit. And that's not a bad thing, I don't think. I
think it also depends on,
especially when you're looking at a team that's still going to be incomplete, even with whatever they do.
I think it also depends on what you view success as. I mean, if you're talking pure rings, I guess, maybe, but there's very few players in the league today that have a ring. If you're just talking like really good players, right? Goff came in right away, started. Carson Wentz came in right away and started, and obviously his career hasn't been what you would hope it was, but a lot of that was due to injury and then getting replaced and stuff. Like, he was good for several years. Obviously Mahomes.
What do these players have in common that you're rattling off other than Mahomes?
I literally just said that they haven't won rings, but most players in the league
No,
today
I don't care
haven't.
about the rings. I'm not even talking about the rings.
But they're good.
What do they have in common?
Good. They're good players.
They're not on the teams that drafted them.
Well, in fairness, Goff only because they got a guy that's much better. They traded him for a guy.
Okay. Not on the team that drafted him.
Agreed.
I mean, I could go down the list.
But I guess my point is that there have been a lot of guys that have had success in the league, and they started right away. Like, Baker started right away, and obviously it's been very up and down.
And then did for a long time.
I mean, he had some success in Cleveland too, and then got replaced. Anyways, Deshaun Watson, for what it's worth, when he was healthy before everything happened, was a really good player. He started right away. Obviously, Mahomes didn't, and he waited a whole year, so that's
all I'm saying is all the players you just named. And keep in mind, if I'm drafting the first overall pick, especially a quarterback, my anticipation is that they have success here.
Sure.
Right? And so hold on. And you look at some of the places where that has occurred, the guys didn't play right away.
Josh Allen missed the first 3 games of his rookie year. That's it.
I'm not saying it's not true of everyone.
And Justin Herbert.
I don't believe either one of them was the first overall pick.
Herbert missed he was number 7. It's not like he was not high.
Right now, specifically talking about the number 1. But either way, it's not that it never happens. My point is that when you look at someone like Aaron Rodgers, again, would he have been as good if he started year 1? Now, he was on
far between. My answer would be most likely yes, especially in that scenario, in that organization.
Maybe. My point is, it's funny, all of your examples aren't playing on the team that drafted him, which means it wasn't successful for them.
I just said Josh Allen. I just said Josh Allen.
That's 1.
Okay, Justin Herbert.
2. Name more.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Late first round, way after everybody expected him. Fine.
I mean, not way after everybody expected him. People expected him not to be a first-round pick because he was going to.
And they completely changed their offense once they drafted him.
But I mean, it's much more successful than it was before.
So, but part of that is the situation they go into.
No, for sure. But I think that, I guess my point is that
he's going into what's been a terrible team for the better part of a decade.
Agreed. But what I
think they finally got code right.
What I would say, though, is I agree with what you're saying, the situation, but I think the situation is much more important than whether or not they play right away. Like, my point being is that Fernando Mendoza he's not going to, he could sit this whole year and then come in and it still eventually doesn't work and he fizzles out because
maybe
the Raiders organization is bad.
Right, I don't think. let's say Kubiak is the guy, which I think
Okay.
he is.
Okay.
Let's say he's the guy. Let's say Fernando is the guy.
Okay.
Okay. I think he probably is.
Okay.
Right.
Then
Look
at
at
that point,
what
I don't
this,
think it matters much whether or not he plays right away. I think that either way he'll
yeah,
have success if both of those statements are
but
true.
I also think let's put him out there behind a shitty offensive line and let's get him hurt. My point here is you're not winning that division this year, and you're
Agreed.
not a playoff.
Agreed.
Because that division is too tough, right? Chances are Denver's going to be better. Chances are Chargers are going to be better. I
The Chiefs are gonna
the
be
Chiefs,
better.
the Chiefs will be better. I still don't think they're going to be a playoff team,
It's
but they're going
close.
to be
There's
better than the
possibility
Raiders.
they don't.
But they're going to be better than the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure,
And
for sure.
so my point is, why put him out there and risk everything when he could still learn a lot just by being behind a guy like Kirk Cousins?
I think
So
because then you're trying to get it to the point where you get him into a situation where you get a lot of the learning curves out of the way before they're trying to compete.
see if that's going to be Jets here. Let's see what they do.
That's the expected pick, David Bailey there. I think that here's the thing. I think that Arvell Reese, pure talent, is the better player, but I think David Bailey
That's
is
who
the
I had. That's who I had in my mock draft. I
sure, but
had
I
him.
think David Bailey is the better pure pass rusher. So here's the thing, right? Is that Arvell Reese played a lot of combination of off-ball linebacker and pass rush, both, and he was really good at both. But pure pass rush, David Bailey is better. And if you talk what is more valuable high in the draft, pass rush or off-ball linebacker, it's obviously pass rush. And if you're not convinced that at the next level, Arvell Reese can be an elite pure pass rusher, then this pick makes sense. Arvell Reese is going to be a great player
Also,
in this
you're
league.
talking about a team that didn't have a single pick last year, and Arvell Reese is also good in pass coverage. It's not just
Yes,
like he's an
but
overall better defender. I agree that Bailey is a better pure pass rusher.
agreed,
But
agreed.
when you talk
No,
about an overall player, and with obviously one of the biggest programs in the country in Ohio State, look, you can't go wrong with either of those two guys. You can't. But I look at the teams that they will be playing most often.
and
You've still
pass
got a
rush
young
really
guy,
matters. I mean,
huh?
pass rush
It
really
matters
matters.
across the league. Yeah, but he can avoid a pass rush. So,
I mean, Josh Allen can, and Drake May can, but it makes it more difficult.
that's 2 of them, and Malik Willis can.
You know,
See
and
if
it,
he'll be good
but
with
it
the ball.
makes it
But
makes it more difficult though if you have a pass rush
sure,
to
but a
avoid.
linebacker that's better in the open spaces in that division, I think just fits better. It doesn't
David
they're
Bailey
both great
as a pure
players.
pass rusher leads you to get interceptions eventually. Is the point?
Right, but my point is, in that division,
I see what you're
I
saying,
would
and I agree either way.
he's a better overall defender. You couldn't go wrong with either pick.
So while we're waiting in
So
between,
I would anticipate at this point, I would think that would flip. I would anticipate the Cardinals to
it's
take Reese at this.
it's possible. What I have actually heard though a lot of is that the Cardinals really want to trade out of this pick. They want to trade down because they really like Francis Maui Noah. They just don't want to take him at 3. So what I've heard is that they want to trade down, but obviously in that scenario, that requires somebody being willing to trade up. And that's not always possible. What I've heard though is that there's a big possibility that if the Cardinals stick and pick here, that it ends up being Jeremiah Love because they just think he's the best player available, and that's an
I
outside
mean,
possibility as
he
well.
is. He is the best
No,
player
no, no, no,
available.
for sure.
I
Um,
expected him to fall to 4 because the
yeah.
Cardinals have got to get
While
defense.
we're in between
I mean,
picks
the Cardinals
here,
defense has been atrocious, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
no,
in
it's
that
bad.
division with the 3 offenses you're battling against,
Yeah,
it
no, and
doesn't
that's fair.
matter if
I'm not saying I
you
agree. I think that Arvell Reese probably would be a better pick. But in my final mock, I had them sticking at 3 and going Francis Maui Noah, just positional value. I just think that uh,
I mean, he's
he's
gonna be a great player. Obviously, I have him at 6 with the Browns, but
which is also a high possibility as well. Just the Browns.
because I have Styles going to New York
Yeah.
at 5.
I mean, there's a
In
lot
my
of
mock,
different
I
combinations of
didn't do any
possibilities
picks.
here.
I didn't do any trades in my mock.
I didn't either. It's just so hard to
Trades don't happen
predict,
all that often in the first round. It's
and they
much
happen a
more.
lot actually. It's just really
I
hard to
mean,
predict.
say a lot as a percentage of the picks. It's not that common.
I mean, 4 or
Um,
5is quite a bit,
it
and
happens at
that'll
other
probably
times. It's unusual that it happens draft night. Not unusual, but it's not as likely as everybody likes it to be because it's exciting.
I mean, I think that it's still on average, I would say in the last 10 years, on average, probably somewhere between 3 and 5 times on draft night in the first round. But
I mean, we'll see.
um, Anyways, while we're between picks here briefly, before we get to the meat of our episode between picks, which will be the NBA playoffs, I did just briefly want to mention the NFL news other than the draft that's happened in the last few days. First of all, the probably least exciting one, but also still interesting. Will Anderson's extension, 3 year, 150 million, becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in history, $50 million a year for the Texans. It's a massive contract, but
Great
man, does
player.
he
It's a
deserve
lot of
it.
money.
It's a lot of money for sure, especially whenever you're probably gonna have to pay CJ Stroud a year from now, and
Yeah,
that
and it has nothing to do with deserving. It's can you still keep a competitive roster? And it gets really
yeah,
tough, man.
it gets hard.
It's
It does. Well,
it's
especially whenever
tough.
you
Well, I mean, look
consider
at the Bengals. They paid those 3 guys. You had to pay Burrow, you had to pay Chase,
yeah.
you paid Higgins, and they're cash strapped. I
Well,
mean, they're
but especially
strapped.
right now, whenever you consider the spot that the Texans are in, you paid Will Anderson and you paid Daniil Hunter, even though Daniil Hunter is only a 1 year contract. It's like $40 million for 1 year. But then you also have Derek Stingley, who's not cheap as well, great corner. You've got at some point CJ Stroud, who you probably like to pay. You've got Nico Collins, who again at some point you'd probably like to pay. It just becomes really tough, and it's like, what do you do, especially when you're in the Texans situation where you're a good team, but you're not a great team right now. You're definitely in contention to win your division every year, but like, how far does that get you? First round playoff loss, great. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, uh,
And again, in a division that's dramatically improving.
well, and that's the other thing too is
You're
it
gonna
gets you to
tie up that
compete for
much
your division. It
you're gonna
doesn't give you
you're
the
gonna
division.
tie up that much money in a
Yeah.
player that's great. One of the best at his position. He did it's not that he didn't deserve to be the highest paid linebacker,
Well, and
but
his production is obviously really high, even
yeah,
probably
of
better
course
than
it
he
is.
is as a
But
player.
but how many of the other players on defense now are you gonna lose when they're ready to be
No,
signed?
agreed. I mean, I'm fully agreeing with you
Against,
here.
I mean, arguably 1A, 1B best defense in the league last year,
I
right?
mean, it was definitely right there for sure.
So
Um,
it's just I don't like it. I
yeah.
mean, I get it, but I don't like it.
The other thing, the Bengals trading number 10 overall, which shocker, we could have all seen it coming. We even mentioned it in our mock draft episode. Like if we were trading picks, like that would be the first one we would even think to trade was it was
Yeah, but I
that
would have
that
gone out I don't I like him, but I still would have tried to go after Crosby.
sure, but I think Dexter Lawrence is a phenomenal player and he definitely helps a
He's a
lot. Now,
phenomenal
there
player, but
is
he's not an
still a
elite passer.
world there there is still a world where you could maybe trade T. Higgins and another pick for Max Crosby. I mean, it's still a possibility.
Yeah,
All right.
and I would
Cardinals.
like that. I think that's a right move, a good
Yep,
move
there he
for both
goes.
teams.
Jeremiah Love, number 3. They stuck and pick, just went BPA. I mean,
That really messes with Tennessee because
it's
I really
it's
think they were
well,
hoping
I
they'd
just think
drop.
at that point now they go Arvell Reese, and that's a great
Well,
play to Robert Saleh.
now maybe
Maybe
that
they trade
forces
back.
I was gonna say, well, at this point, maybe the Titans this forces them to give up a little more to try to get Love.
Well,
Now that he's
no,
on the off the board, they could trade that player
I mean,
now
you
and
you
ask for more
can,
than they
but that typically doesn't happen. Normally, if you're trading up to get a player, you trade up to get the pick to take the player. Um, what I would say is here it makes it more likely that either they just take Arvell Reese because Robert Saleh is your coach and you want to get a good defensive piece, or you trade down, get some capital for maybe say the Chiefs trading up to get Arvell Reese, or the Cowboys or a team like that that needs defense that is willing to spend some capital to go and get that, and then maybe if you're the Titans, maybe you can get 9 and 29 or
Yeah,
whatever.
look, if the Cowboys can just get a secondary in that division right now,
Agreed.
if they could score like they normally do, but
Yeah,
they could get a top 15 defense, they could win that division. I don't know how much further it goes.
absolutely.
Right now, I don't know what to think about the Eagles in general. But all right.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, it's a
that
good pick. It's a good pick for the Cardinals. You can't go wrong.
yeah, it's
Now,
it's
with that
it's
offensive line, I don't think it matters, but
it's tough to
whatever.
get behind though, just with like the value of the player. Like obviously running back is so much less valuable monetarily in the league than other positions.
But you're missing the biggest point, which is not necessarily that not that all positions aren't dependent on others. The running back is 100% dependent on the value of your
Sure,
offensive line.
but
I mean, look at Genty last year. I still think Jenny is legit, and I think he's going to be great. It wasn't a good year, and
yeah,
neither will his.
Now, and that's kind of what I'm saying here is that I was listening to somebody talk about it. If you look at any highly drafted running back recently, they're all great players, right? Like they're very rarely missed on. You have a few misses. Leonard Fournette wasn't great, and he was highly drafted, right? Although he had his moment in Tampa in the playoffs, but Leonard Fournette wasn't great. You have some that aren't great, but most of the time they're pretty great players. I mean, you've got Bijan, you've got who was drafted top 10, Genty, who jury's still out, whatever. But you've got obviously like Saquon Barkley was a really high pick. Nick Chubb, I'm pretty sure was a pretty high pick. Christian McCaffrey was a really high pick. You look at all these guys; they're great players. But here's the question: in all of those cases, Saquon, CMC, Bijan, even. What have they done to affect winning for the team that drafted them? Obviously, Saquon has affected winning a lot, not for the Giants. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey has
Goes back to the quarterback discussion
sure,
we were
no,
having.
obviously, but Christian McCaffrey has affected winning a lot, not for the Panthers.
Now,
Um,
hold on. In all fairness, you have to look at this a different way as well.
no, no, no. The situation obviously matters a lot, but I guess my point is that when you have teams that are
And if you're
routinely
drafting
pick,
at the top of this draft, you did not have a good season just now, unless you happen to have a pick that you stole from someone else
sure, but
and you're
but
now
but that's
drafting.
more my point is that if you're drafting at the top and you want to have a chance to not be drafting at the top, you probably need to take a position of more value than running back because it doesn't typically like even Bijan. Bijan is probably pound for pound the best running back in the NFL right now, or very
That's
minimum
why I
he's
would have
up there.
taken Reese. That's
But
why I've
even
taken Reese.
but since they drafted Bijan, the Falcons haven't won more than 7 games in a season, and he's
We're gonna have
phenomenal,
to be
but
we're
it
gonna have
doesn't
to be
matter.
nice.
Anyways, with the Bengals trade, they trade for Sexy Dexy. That could be big, especially if they could find a way to pair him with Max Crosby or another, good,
I
uh,
like him, but here's my question.
edge prospect
Here's here's my
in the
question
draft.
that makes this a good versus one that makes it is when do they gotta pay him? Because they already approved they weren't gonna pay a guy.
Yeah, kind of, but
If you gotta pay him next offseason, then this was dumb.
no, yeah, I mean, he's under contract for a couple years,
Because
but,
you already had a guy that you refused to pay.
he's also much younger than Trey Hendrickson, and he's more versatile,
That's fair. I'm not arguing that, but that's not the point. If you're going
and
to turn around and pay
Trey
this guy,
Hendrickson.
then what does it matter?
Yeah, that's fair. But no matter how you look at it, you're not gonna probably get a player at 10 that's gonna end up being better than Dexter Lawrence. I mean, it's definitely possible, but you probably weren't going to, at least not tomorrow, gonna be better than Dexter Lawrence. So I think it's fine, especially if you could find a way to pair him with another guy or whatever. And
I
then,
surely the Titans at this point are gonna take Reese,
yeah, I think so, especially because they
or
didn't trade down.
they could take Francis too to get
It is
some line
possible,
help
for sure. I mean, absolutely, just getting Cam Ward some help. But with Robert Saleh being your coach, I think
because
that,
he was running for his life
there's
last
even an
year.
outside chance. I think Arvell Reese would be the player, but there's even an outside chance that you take Sonny Styles to kind of be like Fred Warner would be in
I mean, obviously, I had him
Robert
going to the
Saleh.
Giants, but if Reese is available, they might take him. I don't know.
Well, if Arvell Reese is available, the Giants would definitely go there. But um, I mean, it's very interesting. And then after the Titans pick, we can also talk briefly about the news of AJ Brown that came out
I
as
mean, that's
well.
not gonna happen till June
Yeah,
or July, whatever that date is.
June
Everybody
1st.
keeps saying it's gonna happen tonight. No, it won't. They don't wanna eat that salary. They're gonna wait till after that deadline.
Carnell Tate. I mean, that's good for Cam Ward. That's great for Cam Ward. I mean, you're
I don't disagree with that, but not if he can't stand upright.
I yeah, but I mean their offensive line isn't like the worst in the league. It's not good,
I
that's for
mean,
sure.
Cam
But
Ward was running for his life
he
all
was,
season
he
last
was, he was running for his life a lot. But there's also depth picks. I mean, there's a lot of good tackles in this class. Maybe they trade back into the first round. Maybe they
I had him going to the Saints at 8.
Carnell Tate's a great player. He's going to be a great downfield threat. He's a big body, and then you still have Calvin Ridley. You brought in Wandale Robinson. All of a sudden, that receiving core looks pretty solid. You do still
Yeah,
have Tony Pollard
I don't
behind Cam
hate it.
Ward. Like that offense is not terrible.
I don't hate it if as long as the team is bolstering the offensive
Yeah,
line.
obviously the rest of your picks need to be offensive line and defensive depth, because your offensive skill position players at this point are pretty solid. It's not a bad fit. Um, Carnell Tutt's a great
Yeah, I
player.
don't hate it if their
Yeah.
line was short up.
Anyways, AJ Brown, there is still a possibility within the rules that they can make the trade tonight and then not officially make it until June 1st, and then the contract stuff still stays the way it would. They're trading him with a post June 1st designation. There is a possibility it happens tonight. Say the Rams maybe want to trade number 13 for AJ Brown. Not likely,
But why would
but
the Rams do it?
huh?
I don't know why the Rams would bring that into their
To
environment.
go all in for one Matthew Stafford Super
You
Bowl.
already got Puka and you got Adams,
I
like,
mean,
they've
a
got
lot of
guys,
people are projecting right now, especially
and
because
they've already proved they're genius at drafting that position.
yeah, I mean, Devontae is old, and so obviously he's only got a year or
He
2
had a
left.
great year. You can call him old all you want.
No,
He's
no,
good
no,
for great for
obviously, no,
another
he had a
year.
great year, but my point is he doesn't have many of those left. My point being is that
I know, but they can draft it. They've
most people
proven
think
they can
that if
draft
they
that.
stick and pick with their pick, that they're gonna draft a receiver, or maybe that they'll move up and draft a receiver. I mean, a lot of people are saying that right now.
But my point is they're great at drafting that position. Elite at it.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, look at their two last big ones.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I mean, they also did miss on Tutu Atwell, so it's not 100%, but
But
yeah,
also part of this is guys are just gonna be great if they're playing with Matthew Stafford.
absolutely. Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, I mean, it makes it very, very hard to fail as a receiver, for sure, when you got both of those guys. But anyways,
Giants have to take Reese here.
the big rumor was whenever the news officially first came out that it is most likely that they're gonna trade AJ Brown is that he's gonna go to the Patriots, which is
I don't
interesting.
wanna see that,
I
obviously.
don't either. You're gonna have in the same division, you're gonna have Josh Allen and DJ Moore, and then Drake May and AJ Brown. Doesn't feel good. However,
I
the
don't like it.
Patriots right now are in some bad news as well. We don't necessarily need to talk about the Vrabel stuff, but it's not good for your culture.
We will briefly, right?
It doesn't feel
And that
good.
is, first, I don't give a shit. Now, he's not the character guy I thought he was, clearly.
Sure.
In fact, there's been pictures all over the place now that this has been going on for a long time. This isn't
Yeah.
new. And so, I even saw something today that I don't know if it's true or not, that it's possible that her kid is his name is Mike. She was married.
How does it feel great?
Anyway, yeah, and anyway, ultimately I don't care. However, what I will say, this is not the Patriot way.
Well, and that's what I
This
was gonna
kind of
say too.
old crap is not their way. Um,
It doesn't
they're
feel
not gonna get rid of him,
it doesn't
but it's
feel
gonna be
great.
hard for him to have a lot of credibility in the locker room by saying you gotta limit the off the field crap. We don't need this in the building.
Right.
And you are the biggest distraction that team has seen, and I couldn't tell you how
Well,
long.
and that's the other thing too, is I was gonna say it doesn't feel great to say this whenever you look at Bill Belichick right now, but Bill Belichick as the Patriots head coach, something like this was never gonna happen, right? So it's weird. It's definitely weird. That's for sure. I will say that much.
That's all I wanted to
Um,
say. I
yeah,
Whatever. I feel bad for his family, her family. Not them, they were the ones that did it, but I do feel bad for the family members involved here. Um, not a good thing. Is
I
what it
gotta
is.
just remember that my mic has a mute button when I start coughing. So that's my allergies have been acting up like all week. They suck. My throat hurts as I'm talking. So but now we're in a commercial break, so this is a great chance to finally let's talk about the NBA playoffs that have been so good so far. On an
Okay,
individual
let's talk
game,
about the one series that hasn't been good yet, and it won't be, um, and that's ours, right?
yeah, okay, yeah,
Can I just say I've been a Devin Booker fan, right? I've
me
never
as
been
well.
a what's his face fan because he's just a clown.
Dylan
Um,
Brooks.
yeah, he's a
Dylan
clown.
Brooks is so annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, point is the amount they will never Booker will never win a title. Obviously, as I've said before, most players won't. He's soft, man.
Here
He's
we go with
just
this
soft.
again. Another player
Look,
that
look,
was the best player on a team that went to the finals can never win a ring. Not possible.
he's soft.
Agreed.
Instead of talking about these are the reigning champs, we had a 19 game lead about us all year. They are a great team. We need to do this better, and this better. All they do is complain and moan about officiating.
Agreed.
Look,
No, I
do
hate
I
it,
like
and
the
it's pissing me off. It's super
do
annoying. But to say
yeah,
that
do I
he'll never
like
win a ring, you don't
he
know.
won't. He won't. He's
What if he
soft.
goes somewhere and is the second best option, and then he'll
I
be
don't care.
number 2 in the league?
I don't care. Here, look. Do I like the technical foul they called on him? No, it was ridiculous. Were there other bad calls in that game that went against the Thunder? Yes, there were. It went both ways in that game. It wasn't just one way. Was it a greatly officiated game? No. Did the calls go both ways? Yes. Was that a technical foul in my opinion? No.
Now, here's the part that they're not talking about. Everybody's talking about, oh, they called the technical foul because he tried to save the ball. Shut up. I was there. He was in the ref's face. They didn't show that part. He was in the ref's face arguing the call. I'm 90% sure that's what they called the technical foul on, but nobody's talking about that. No, that footage is not circulating anywhere. And also the fact that this pissed me off because I was yelling for it all night. The fact that Dylan Brooks did not get ejected from that game, he got his one technical foul when they called double text on him and Lou Dort and they offset. But every single time
That second was
anything happened
clearly a
for
double technical.
anybody after that, he was in the ref's face there, and I'm sure they probably didn't show it on the broadcast, but they were showing it obviously on the screen. Um, every single time they went to a break, every single time the rest of the team was in the huddle, he was this close to the main official,
Yeah.
the head official,
They just didn't
every
want to
single
call it,
time, and
and they didn't.
his face was red every
Yeah.
single
They
time,
didn't want to
and it
eject
pissed
him.
me off. Every
That was
single
the
time I got out of my seat and I said, "Eject
well,
him, tee him up. What are we doing? Why is he still
but
here?"
the other thing was what you're missing too is the other one that they went to review for a technical, it was a technical.
Yeah.
It should have been a flagrant one, right? So that's all I'm going to talk about the Thunder series. The Thunder are just light years better than the Suns. They're going to sweep them. This game's over in 4. Maybe they get one in Phoenix, but I don't think so. There is a reason there was a 19 game difference between the two teams this year, and it wasn't officiating. It was that the team is
And
not
let's
good.
talk now about the fact that because they called 4 more fouls on them this game, we now have the same amount of fouls called on us between 2 games, but guess what? We beat them by 49 total points.
No, I mean,
The same amount of
and
fouls does
even
not
on the
equate to
broadcast,
49
by the way,
points.
hold on. Even on the broadcast last night, they were acting like, man, it really got close because they got it to 10.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did we
and then
play
they
great
put
down
Shea
the
back in. It
stretch?
got to 10
Did
and
we
put
give
Shea
up
back in.
did we play the defense the way we should have down the stretch as good as we should have? No. Did they end up hitting some big shots down the stretch? They did. Were they gonna win? No. They're talking about it as a win almost for them because they got it to 10.
There goes
Anyway,
Arvell
that
Reese for
series
the
isn't
Giants.
the series is just not even interesting.
Yeah, no,
So
no, I agree, absolutely. I
so
mean,
I got a linebacker from Ohio State right for the New York Giants. Obviously,
we
I
just
love the
didn't
pick.
expect Arvell Reese
Here's
to
the
be
thing.
still on the board at 5.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. This is what I expected them to take at this position. They think they have their quarterback. They think they have their running back. They've got a defensive offensive lineman. Malik Neighbors is coming
Now
back.
that being said,
They feel like they're set offensively, so you're going to bolster the defense.
Jeremiah Love been on the board at 5, they probably would have taken him.
Probably because obviously you got to worry a little bit about Scadaboo, but
And Scottaboo's a good player, and I think he can be a good like change of pace back. I don't think he's a bell cow, right? Part of that being because of the way you said, like how that's how he runs. He's never going to stay healthy if he's the bell cow. But
okay. So let's go to the second most the most interesting game so far of the playoffs, in my opinion,
okay,
which is the Nuggets and the
okay,
Timberwolves.
good.
Um,
Can we just talk? Can I just lead this conversation with how good Rudy Gobert has been through 2 games? Like in the second game specifically, uh, Nikola Jokic had 6 points at halftime.
Cleveland just traded their pick to Kansas City.
That's not shocking whatsoever. They're gonna take, I don't, maybe Ruben Bain, maybe Sonny Styles. I don't know. But
I would
Cleveland
take
has been
Styles.
rumored to try
Right.
and trade out so that way they can go tackle. But anyways, um, that's
The
not
best
surprising.
tackle of the best tackle of the draft was just available to them. But
Well, yeah, but they think that
now if
they
they
can
think
trade
he's going to
back
fall
and
a
he can
little
still
while,
be.
obviously there's a player that Kansas City specifically is targeting because they only moved up 3 spots. So
Right. But that's what I'm saying. You probably think that Francis Mauigoa as the best tackle in the class is probably still on the board at 9, with the 2 behind you. So, this is probably a pretty good pick or
anyway, so let's get
trade
to
for them.
they got to still pick. So look, w- in
Okay,
that
but
series,
hold on. That's what I
hold
was
on.
gonna. I was before that happened. I was talking about Rudy Gobert. In game 2, and I talked about this a little bit on Wednesday when I was recording. Nikola Jokic had 6 points at halftime inefficiently. And then, in the 3rd quarter, Gobert picked up his 4th foul early, and so he was on the bench for most of the or I think I said 4th. 3rd quarter, he was on the bench for most of the 3rd quarter, and then Nikola Jokic had 16 points in the 3rd quarter, and yes, he did take over, so I'm not trying to, like, and he's a better player overall than Rudy Gobert. So I'm not trying to say that wouldn't have happened anyways, but all of his good success in that game, Nikola Jokic, was when Rudy Gobert was not on the court, because then Rudy Gobert came back on the court in the 4th quarter, and Nikola Jokic was mid again. Rudy Gobert in that game absolutely looked like a 4-time DPOY, and Nikola Jokic, when Rudy Gobert was on him, did not look like the best player in the world, 3-time MVP.
Look,
Like, it
look,
was crazy what Rudy Gobert did in
when
that
you
game.
play
Phenomenal.
aggressive defense on Jokic, you can make him human for spurts. I mean, Caruso did it last year,
Sure.
right? Like,
But
and
small
he's a short
spurts,
guy
typically,
compared.
like half a quarter,
So,
a quarter. Rudy Gobert
but
did it for 3 quarters in that game.
yeah. So anyway, to one of the side stories of this series, and this just drives me crazy about some of the players that play today. Let your play on the court do the talking. You stole one in Denver. Good for you. Let's not act like they didn't have a 10-game lead on you all year. You were not a good basketball team.
No, I mean, you're
Chances
still a
are,
good basketball team. You're not a great basketball team.
Denver still wins this series. And what are
Probably.
you out there doing? Running your mouth about how bad they are defensively. You don't think they're going to bring it to you a little bit?
Well, okay,
Like,
hold
it
on.
just doesn't make sense. This
It
is a
was one
championship
player.
basketball
It
team.
was one player that said that, and you're right. It was a dumb thing to say, but it was one player.
I get it. But what are you doing?
No,
It's
I
selfish is
agree.
what it is. You're trying to get pub about yourself instead of thinking what's best for your basketball team. Denver doesn't need motivation. They've won a championship. They know what it means. They want to do it again, right? I'm not worried about Denver. They're going to figure this out. Yes, they were driving down their throats in the lane.
Wow. So
Um,
the Chiefs, sorry to interrupt, but the Chiefs gave
yeah,
up
they
the
got a
ninth overall
haul.
pick and then a 3rd and a 5th.
That's kind of a haul
I mean, it's a good amount for the Browns, for sure.
for a team that needs a lot of players.
Well,
It's
and
a haul.
especially the Browns, because they're probably gonna move back to 9 and still take the same player they would have picked at 6, most likely.
Yeah, it's one of the smartest things I've seen them do in a long time.
It's a good move there, and they still have another first-round pick. So,
Now you could still see Francis. I don't think he'll go there. You could still see him in Washington or even Saints. It's
I
not a
mean, it's
guarantee of.
it's legitimately possible he could even go to KC, but I'm pretty sure KC's moving up to go defense, for sure. Whether it's Sonny
Yeah,
Styles or,
I think it's Styles or maybe even Caleb Downs.
Ruben Bain,
I mean, Ohio State's racking it up right now.
for sure.
Anyway, so I first of all, the basketball's just been fantastic, right?
Wow.
Both teams are playing. You know what's funny? Look at my draft. That's who I had him taken at 9.
No, agreed, and I did too, I'm pretty sure, but the thing that's interesting here is the fact that everybody had been mocking this at 9, and they moved up to get it, which what that tells me is they think that the Cowboys were gonna try and jump them, so they had to outbid the Cowboys to jump up to get Mansour Delane.
Maybe, but I don't like. I mean, he's a great player. I don't like his size, but in
I
the
mean,
modern
he's a
NFL,
solid size for a corner,
I mean, not when you look at the 6'2", 6'3" wide receivers anymore.
all no corners are that tall, not no, but most of them aren't. It's more
You've got
about,
guys that are 6 foot, 6'1".
well, this guy is
It hap
6'1".
No, he's not. He's 5'11" and a half.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, they just showed it on the screen. I'm not making it up. Anyway, I don't hate it. That's what I had them picking. I just thought they could get it at 9. Obviously, they didn't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
So I had obviously, the Commanders moved quick. They already knew what they were doing. I had them picking Caleb Downs at Washington. That's what I had.
okay, yeah, they've got him, like, right at 6 foot, on the NFL draft,
Anyway, it's funny. That's who I had them picking, just not at 6.
yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a good pick overall. You gotta replace Trent McDuffie, you gotta do a lot on that DB. There's still a chance that at the back end of the first round, they could go another DB. Like, you gotta do a lot there, but it's just interesting to see them,
So
trade up and
anyway,
then take them.
so I'm still picking Denver to win that series. It could go 7 though, which is good for us.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very good. I'm still picking them to win it, but it's gonna be a fun series. It's gonna be a long series, and, like I said, props to Rudy Gobert. Love to hate on Rudy Gobert because of what he did to the Thunder in Utah, but he's a great player. He's phenomenal. He still to this day gets underrated because people are like, "Oh, he's washed. Oh, he's not that great." He still had the second best defensive on off in the league this season. Or no, I think even the best defensive on off in the league. It's just that his offense is so mid that it kind of brings it back down a little bit. Um, but he's a phenomenal, phenomenal player. There's a reason he's won 4 Defensive Player of the Years. And yeah, I mean, I was just so impressed with what he did to Nikola Jokic in that game. And obviously, Anthony Edwards, his shot wasn't falling crazy, so he had a little bit of an inefficient night. But in the second and third quarters, he was just attacking the paint so well, driving so well that it just didn't matter. Like he was getting to the paint at will. He started to slow down a little bit whenever he was just pulling up. Like he started settling for shots, and I didn't love that. But he had a really good game as well. And Joyous Randle played a lot better in game two than he did in game one. They just, as a team, they really came out to play. And Dante DiVincenzo as well really showed out a lot.
Yeah.
Because Dante DiVincenzo, just every hustle play that could have been made, he made in that game. He was a phenomenal player. So
So one other thing, going back to Thunder real quick, and then I need to get back to this series, but the J Dub thing, I can't believe I didn't even bring it up.
yeah,
Um, I'm not overly concerned because
it
we
is
don't need
grade
him
one.
for.
It did come out that it's grade one, so that's a
Yeah,
big deal.
I'm not worried about this series, and I'm not worried about the next series. So if we rest him a couple of weeks, not
For
the end
sure.
of the
He's
world.
definitely not going to
I
play
don't
again in
like
this
it.
series, and we're not
Yeah,
going to
I
lose the
don't like
game.
it just because how I don't like it just because how great he's been playing. Because
He
he's
was
really
really,
hot.
really good
But
yesterday. Really,
yeah.
really good. Yeah, and in game one.
Now back
But
to that series. Speaking of injuries, the one wild card in this Nugget series is how long is Gordon out? Because it's a big loss. He's definitely out for game three.
did he? Did he get hurt?
Yeah, he's out for game three.
What happened?
I don't remember what it is, but he's out for game three.
Hold on, I'm looking right now because
Because that is a big deal, right? Because he's their best big defensive player they
this
have.
is news to me. He's been downgraded to questionable. Hold on, it's loading. Calf injury, which is not
I
good,
thought last I saw he was
obviously.
downgraded to out.
Um, final injury report. Uh, I'm still seeing he's questionable and is in danger of
Okay,
missing the
I could have
playoff
sworn I
game.
saw that he was out, but anyway,
But either way, it doesn't look that doesn't feel
that is
good.
something to keep your eye on, obviously.
Absolutely. That's rough if they lose him. Obviously, we saw what happened to them in Game 7 last year without him. I mean, he played, but he didn't play.
But he was a shell
He
of
played, but
himself.
he
He
wasn't there.
he
Um,
probably shouldn't have played. Um,
Fortunately, it didn't lead to further injury, um,
yeah.
because that was the end of their season.
He's one of those
But
players that I hate to play against him, but I like him.
well, yeah, no, for I mean, Aaron Gordon is
Anyway, I'm still picking Denver right now. Uh, it's gonna be a long fought series though,
absolutely. I
which
agree.
takes me to the next
All right.
intriguing series.
The Commanders just took Sonny Styles. It's been rumored for a
Okay.
while that Dan Quinn really liked him. That's a good pick to.
It's a little bit of a change up. I also had them taking an Ohio State defender, but I had it as Caleb Downs. Um, but obviously that's a good pick at that, especially at 7. So I had the Saints taking Carnell Tate, which is obviously not available. This could impact the Dolphins a little bit. Be interesting if they still went wide receiver, if they went Lemon, because that's who
Um,
I think we will take. But
it's possible. I mean, if they go wide
man, they
receiver,
already made their pick. All right,
the fact that they
back
already
to
made their
playoff.
pick really tells me I think that they are very glad that Ruben Bain is still on the board and they're going fast to take Ruben Bain would be my guess. Either that or maybe Jordan Tyson.
I mean, they could also go with Francis too.
I mean they could. They could. There's a lot of options here. So, um
I mean, again, they need a lot of help. So
in the in between here for a couple moments, which series would you like to talk about next?
I'm going to bring up a series, but let me talk about it for a minute.
So I can victory lap?
No, Spurs.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Um, so we'll get to that series in a minute. Look, they're going to win this this series. They're the better basketball team with or without Wemby.
Most
I
likely.
don't imagine I don't imagine Wemby playing um this next game for sure. It was an ugly, ugly injury. what I will say is what's interesting about what happened is something that a lot of players are gonna start doing to him now, because it was a really smart defensive play. They pulled the chair out. And on a normal de on hold let me finish.
Kind of.
On a norm on a normal play, that causes the defender to stumble a little bit, they get a travel call, or maybe they fall on their butt and get a travel call, or it causes a turnover. The one thing I've noticed in watching Wemby a lot down the last month or 2, because I've really focused on them because of how dominant they were over us in 3 games this year, and so I've been very interested in kinda getting an idea. He has a tendency, and I think this is because, first of all, when you're that tall, he is a super coordinated guy, but when you're that tall, you're gonna be a little bit clumsy at times, and when you see him back a guy down, and that's where what was happening at this moment, right? He doesn't have the girth to push somebody, right? And so what he'll do is he'll do a fancy move that most guys can't do, like a spin move out of it or whatever, but almost to the point, and it's not the same thing, but it's similar in the sense that he gets out of control a little bit, like Westbrook used to. And so that's what happened on this play. He was going to do a hardcore, strong spin move. The guy just moved out of the way and he went down face first. Like,
I mean,
first of all, I hope he's okay. That was an ugly play. He was
it was
out.
hard. It was a hard fall.
He was out cold. By the way, I sent you a text when it happened because at first they didn't show it in slow mo. I couldn't tell what was happening, and I'm like, because it drives me crazy sometimes. They'll let a guy wallow around on the ground for 5 minutes without sending anybody out there.
I
There's
mean,
no
not
delay
5
game.
minutes, that's majorly excessive.
It feels like it
It's
because
not.
they don't
30
send the medical
seconds.
staff. Like in football, the medical staff immediately runs. They don't do that in basketball, and it's weird. Like they never even got to him before he stood up finally and kind of started going right towards
He, like,
the locker room,
started to move, and then
and he was out cold.
he, like, started to move, and then, like, couldn't even get off of his knees and then stumbled
Yeah, like
backwards into the
but you
stanchion.
know what part
It
of the
was
problem
scary.
is?
It was
But
scary.
you know what part of the problem is? So many guys fake that shit. That's why the medical teams don't go out. Half the time they're laying around like they just
I also
lost
just
an
think
arm.
with it being obviously a much faster paced game than the NFL, I think a lot of the times the
Yeah, but if
league
play stopped. It
No,
doesn't matter.
sure,
Go
but
out.
the league doesn't want everybody clearing off the bench anytime play stops for whatever
The
reason.
players shouldn't. But if the play now the play keep in mind, if the
No, not the players,
play
I'm
is
talking about, like, the staff
if
and
the other team's
everybody.
doing a if the other team is doing a fast break, okay, you can't do it while the game's happening. But at that point, the game had stopped.
No, I know, but
So,
I guess
anyway, my to make a full point thing, first, I hope he's okay. It was ugly.
it was
It was
bad.
a definite concussion. He was out cold. He's definitely not gonna play in the next game. I would be shocked if he cleared protocol. Uh, so they're gonna win the series either way. But what I was getting at with Wemby is he's gonna have to learn to play a little bit differently and not be so out of control because he's so big, right? Uh, what the defender did wasn't dirty or anything. It was smart. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm about to
yeah.
get my ass run over. He just moved out of the way, and Wemby just went down because then there
Now,
was no
also a
resistance.
lot easier said than done, right? Like, a lot of the times if you move out of the way, it just gives them an open lane. It doesn't
I
necessarily.
know, but I guess that's my point. When he plays out of control like that, because the guy that was on him was undersized. Like he was going
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
even for
well,
even by
so
Wemby.
is literally everybody.
I know, but
Yeah, no, 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 I got you. I
putting a
got you.
center on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And so I think the reason he plays like that sometimes is that he can't just push you back. He doesn't have that kind of strength.
That's fair. Now, what I will say is I did pose the question when I was talking on Wednesday. I was like, so what does this mean for the Spurs? Because like if you talk about obviously a competent and like an NFL concussion, right? A player can miss 13 days with a concussion and still only miss one game, right? Because
This could be 2 series potentially.
well, no, that wouldn't be two series at that point. It'd
I
be like
mean,
part of the second
halfway
series.
through the
Anyway,
next series,
but
yeah.
my point is that because it's that 14th day that would be that second game from the time that you got hurt on the first Sunday, right? But even if you uh, play the next game, which happens occasionally in the NFL, but not most of the time, that's still 6 recovery days. And 6 recovery days in the NBA playoffs is at least 2 games, right? But my
Look,
point,
if I'm the Spurs right now, I'm not playing him in this series.
but
They're gonna win it.
my point being was that I was um posing the question of like, how long is he out? What does this mean for the Spurs? What happens? And I don't know the answer to that. I was like, what does the NBA's concussion protocol look like? And I've looked into it a little bit. Basically, for 48 hours, he cannot participate in full um,
And they
practice
play in
and all that.
72, so he wouldn't need to necessarily.
Right. So for 48 hours, he can't have full participation. Um, and then obviously dependent on symptoms that can even be longer, but you have to go 48 hours at least, and then you can try and do all the things to pass protocol. So technically speaking, it is like you said, 72 hours. It is still possible he plays in game 3. It's unlikely right now, I think. Right now, Sham said that he's really working towards trying to be able to travel with the team to go. And if not, maybe just meet them later and play in game 4. Possible possibility though is that he plays earlier than I was expecting when I posed the question. And I agree with you. I think they still really can win this series without him. They're still a very good team. They did lose this game, but it was still only by 4 points, even without Wemby. And the Spurs played horrifically in that game.
Look, yeah, hold on, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. You Sure, but here's the thing. I think they'll base a lot on what happens in game 3.
Agreed. I think he won't play game
But
3, and
here
then they base his
Yeah, but
availability after that on
here's
what
the thing.
happens.
Here's the thing that I think you're underplaying a little bit. He averaged 29 minutes a game. That was because hold on. That was because the Spurs, whether you want to admit it or not, they are careful with him
Yeah, they're probably
because of things like
careful,
this.
but this was a fluke
And
play.
it's a fluke play, but it's a fluke play that something like that can happen to a guy like that. And so all I'm saying is that, oh man, I did not expect that pick, but that's a good one.
Jordan
I mean,
Tyson. I mean, okay, so here's
I obviously had him taking a receiver. That's just not where I had him going.
Here's the thing with Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson, pure talent, is the most talented prospect in this class, receiver wise. He is probably a better player than Carnell Tate when he's on the field. The thing is, he tore his ACL, he broke his collarbone, and he had a nagging hamstring injury in 3 different years in college. His injury concerns are concerning. You know who else had major injury concerns in college? Puka Nakua had major injury concerns in college when he played at BYU or played at Washington, transferred to BYU, still had injury concerns, and then ended up falling to what the third, fourth, fifth round whenever the
Yeah, I mean,
Rams took him. And now he's one of the
a
best
lot of
receivers in
that
the
is
league.
I mean, look, a lot of that has to do with how good is your training staff,
No,
and they're gonna be
absolutely,
better than NFL
for
teams.
sure.
Okay, back to what I was saying about Wemby and the Spurs organization. If they win game 3, he won't see this series.
If he wins, if they win game 3, you definitely don't see him before 5. That's for sure. Like if they win game 3, then you've taken home court back. So then they're not going to play him in 4. That's for sure. Depending on how game 4 goes, if they're up 3-1, he probably doesn't play again. If it's 2-2, come home for game 5, he might. But it depends. But I agree with you. You need to be cautious with him under the assumption you win game 3. If you don't win game 3, then we start to have different conversations because you can't go down 3-1.
Okay.
Um,
Let's talk about Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's weird right now because here's my problem with Detroit. Detroit, the issue that we've been talking about with them all year that everybody's been talking about is that they don't have any real ball dominant playmaker and creator other than Cade Cunningham, and that has shown severely in this series. Jalen Duren playing center for them is a great player. He was a first time All Star this year. He's borderline, might make an All NBA team, depending on how the votes shake out. If not, he'll be one of the highest vote getters not to make the third team. He had a phenomenal season. He is really, really good when he's being fed the ball in that pick and roll game with Cade. But other than that, he's not a creator, obviously. Asar Thompson finished third place in DPOY voting this year. Phenomenal player, not a creator, right? Duncan Robinson, great shooter, although he has not shot well throughout this series so far. Not a creator. Like, they don't have any creation outside of Cade Cunningham, and it's showing. In game 1, he had 39, and then the rest of the roster was terrible, and they lost. In game 2, he had like 28, I think, and then like 12 assists. And other than that, they were still terrible. They just got lucky that the Magic are worse, right? In game 1, the Magic played decent, and the Pistons outside of Cade played terrible. In game 2, the Pistons played about the same and got lucky that they won because the Magic sucked. So right now, I'm really scared about the Pistons because it's really just dependent on the Magic sucking for them to win.
Look, first of all, let's not forget neither one of you have had them in our top 5 contenders in the East
Yeah,
in 2 months for a reason.
agreed.
So, look, here's what I will say. A couple of things. First, all props out to Detroit, or sorry, Orlando. They're really trying to win. Not that all teams aren't, but they're scrappy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with them. And what I found interesting as I was thinking about when this game started last night, right? Because I've been watching all of these games. What I found most interesting is I started thinking to myself, what if they lose this game? Like, like if they get through this round and they play tough in the second round, or maybe even get to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose,
Sure.
it's going to be considered a very successful season,
Yeah.
right? I get to the 1 seed. That's a little disappointing, but
Not really, though. I mean, like, it's a good season. You're still only 2 years
we're
removed from having a team that went 28 straight games without a win, right? Like,
understood. My point here is this. The more interesting thing about that game to me is if they lose it and then you go through and you lose in round 1, this isn't we're a really good team, but we've got to add a couple of key pieces around Cade. It's almost maybe blow it up, including the coach that was runner-up coach of the year. Like, if you go out and you got swept or lost in 5 to Orlando in the first round, like,
yeah,
it could have been
I
crazy. Now,
mean,
give
that
Detroit
was
credit. They came out last night and kicked their ass. Like, it
now
wasn't close.
considering
They did what they should have done last night, and that's good for them.
considering everything that these 2 teams are, that was never gonna happen. They were never gonna get swept or lose in 5. That's the obviously major overreaction take to
I
just
know,
game
I didn't say it
1.
was going to happen, but I was having that thought in my head, like, what does that mean?
Now, it is still possible they lose this series. I don't think they're going to, but it is still possible. Um,
I trust them to get out of this round.
but I think that the concern really becomes the fact that the Magic are not a very good team, and all of our, like, question marks and them being exposed. Well, let's look at what the Browns take here.
Surely they're taking Francis.
Francis Maui Noah, probably. Spencer
That's what
Fanu,
I
I
think.
mean, same thing, offensive lineman. Spencer Fanu projects probably more as playing guard at the NFL level. He's still a big body. He's 6'6", but weight wise, he's a little bit undersized. He's like 305 for a tackle that's slightly small.
Yeah, I just
He
don't
projects more
honestly,
towards.
though,
Hold on,
I
but
just don't like the pick
he
compared to
he, he
Francis.
I disagree. I think that he projects more as playing guard. And if you just look at skill, his movement, his agility, everything like that, he's phenomenal. Probably the most
I don't
talented.
hate it. I had him going to the Rams at 13,
He's
but
probably the most talented offensive lineman in the class.
I
It's
just
just
think
that,
Francis is still available. That's who I would have gone with, but
well, I'm just saying he's probably the most talented offensive lineman in the class. It just becomes that tackle is more valuable than guard, and he probably projects more as a guard. But there is still a
I will say
real world where he could play tackle in the league, and so you got a great player.
this kind of changes what I think the Dolphins should do based on what's still left.
Francis Mariota definitely could be the pick for sure.
If he's still available, or even Caleb Downs.
I think in my last mock I had us going Caleb Downs at 11. I
For
did.
him drop those 2 guys dropping that far, I almost think you can't take the guy who I have him above.
In my last mock, I had Downs going at 11 to us, but
And obviously Francis staying in Miami would be interesting.
that being
Who did you
said,
have here for New York? I had safety out of Oregon, Thieneman.
Thieneman, I had them going Sonny Styles because I still had Sonny Styles on the clock, or on the board, but Francis Maui Noah makes sense. You got to
I mean, yeah.
Jackson Dart.
Well, I don't think you can because he's an idiot. But I mean, I
Well,
love the pick. I love the pick there.
you got to try. You got to
Now,
put.
I still think their need is defense, but
Sure, but they just went defense. They just took Arvo Reese at 5.
yeah,
So
no, I got it. But you could have got another top 10 defensive player here.
you
But
you could have, but
like Caleb Downs,
now
I
Ruben
mean,
Bain being still on the clock here
oh, right.
is interesting for the Dolphins. Like I said, I went
I had a
Caleb
feeling
Downs, who is
high
still on the
limit,
board.
right?
So it's possible that that's the pick we go with, and I would love that if we took Caleb Downs. If we could take Caleb Downs at 11, when some people were saying he could go as early as 4 or 5, is very interesting. So
All right. So we're both still picking the Pistons to get out of that round.
yeah, but there was one thing I wanted to say, and I forgot what it was. Oh, it's the fact that you've got a team like the Magic right now that's not very good, and yet they're still exposing all of these issues with the Pistons. And so while the Pistons probably still get out of this round on pure talent, it makes you very, 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 very concerned as a Pistons fan going into round two when you're probably going to play the Cavs. And that's scary because you might lose
Cavs
that
are
series in
playing very
five.
well, and the Cavs are playing very well right now.
Whoa!
What? Did
The
we trade our
Cowboys
pick to the
just traded
Cowboys?
up and they still have 12, which means we just gave them 11 without giving them 12. What did they give us?
So
I
we
hate
didn't get
this.
12? We didn't get 12?
No. Well, at least unless because they haven't updated it because the details haven't come in yet, which is also possible. But as of now, this shows that they still have 12, which kind of sucks because I really kind of wanted
Come
Caleb
on.
Downs.
There's no way we don't give up 12, right? And if so, that means they must be picking it makes you
Unless we
think that
got
maybe
George
they
Pickens.
well, I was gonna say the other possibility is that they were going after Lemon
Okay,
because
no,
then
it
they don't
updated. We got 12. We got 12.
okay.
They're going to take Caleb Downs here. I think. I think they're jumping us to
They
take
have to
Caleb
take
Downs,
they
and I
have to
think
take Caleb Downs.
it's worth it for them. It's worth it for us to get extra draft capital, especially if they gave us 20 and we have 3 first round picks. That'd be interesting. I don't know if they did give us 12 and 20. Probably not, but it's possible.
2 first rounders
I doubt it. I doubt
to
it, but
move up a spot, I find
probably
that
not.
hard to believe.
But they're probably going to take either Caleb Downs or they could go Ruben Bain as well. Ruben Bain being available is interesting as well for the Cowboys. So
They need help in the secondary. It's gotta be
agreed.
Caleb.
It could be Caleb Downs, could also be Jermod McCoy, could be anybody like that. I think they're jumping us specifically because they know that we have very similar needs to them. I mean, we have a lot more needs than they do. We have a lot less talent
Yeah,
overall,
I mean,
but we have similar needs in similar spots. So I think that that's interesting.
alright,
Um,
Cleveland, they're gonna win that
well,
series. They're playing great right
yeah.
now. Harden had 5 steals
What's really
in
sad for
that
me right
game.
now, in that series is the fact that I thought that the Raptors could be a little bit more competitive. The Raptors had a very good season for them, and they were
Yeah,
very successful. But because of their defensive prowess in the regular season and how good Scotty Barnes was, he's probably I don't know I forgot to look at the full voting, but he probably finished like fourth or fifth in DPOY voting. He's definitely gonna be an all defensive player. Um, he was phenomenal. I thought that their defense could really hold up a little bit for a couple games against the Cavs. But this probably series is probably over in 5 if I had to guess. Like it's not great. They're playing right now. Let me go look at the score. I don't know what it is.
uh, Atlanta's up by, like, 4 to 6.
No,
I think it
that's
was
the wrong game. We're talking about the Cavs right now.
oh, yeah, the other games. Oh, alright. Look, here's the thing. Right now, they're really tough if you can't play great defense because you're never in a position where either Mitchell or Harden are off the court, right? They never go off at the same time. And so you've got a Hall of Famer, a potential future Hall of Famer on the court all the time. One is still an elite playmaker. He still shoots the
I
three.
mean, they're both
And
elite
then you got,
playmakers. Yeah.
yeah, but I meant
Obviously
like
James
Hard.
Harden to a
My
much
point
different
is,
level.
yeah, my point is Harden is still a great playmaker,
Well,
even though
and what I
he's getting slightly past his prime,
yeah,
but
what I'll say here that really shows me a lot, and I think that what you're saying is very important. The fact that both James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, anytime they've been in the playoffs, neither of them have had another ball centric playmaker and creator as good as each other, and so that really helps alleviate pressure from both of them. And obviously, Donovan Mitchell has always been a great playoff riser, and so that just helps him even more. And Harden, it really helps alleviate some of his playoff shortcomings
if
sometimes.
you think about most
Um,
players that have a really great if they have one really good defensive guard, in most games, you can go off when their star player goes off. Well, that doesn't work with Cleveland.
right.
Like, you could handle that, right? But a lot of teams can't. They have a guard that's a really great defender that
Yeah.
you're gonna put on that guy.
Yeah.
But when Mitchell sits, Harden's there. You
Yeah.
can't
Well, and
do it
so that's
so
what
much.
I was going to say is they very obviously can alleviate pressure from each other in that scenario. But the other thing that's been really showing and telling to me, especially against a defense that's been as good so in this season as Toronto, what's really been showing to me in this series is that the biggest complaint about Evan Mobley, obviously he's already won Defensive Player in the Year in his career. Like he's a phenomenal player, phenomenal on that side of the ball for sure. But something that's always been a little bit lackluster for him for fans is that he hasn't been aggressive enough on the offensive side of the ball. And in this series, and a lot of it is James Harden, because James Harden is one of the most elite like pick and roll ball handlers and playmakers in the pick and roll specifically of all time. And we've seen it time and time again his whole career with Dwight Howard, with Clint Capella, with literally whoever, Joel Embiid. It doesn't matter. Zubac in the Clippers, right? Um, Him and Evan Mobley pick and roll has been phenomenal, and it's taken Evan Mobley's aggression on offense to a whole new level. Like he had like 3 or 4 dunks in the first half alone against Toronto in Game One, and like he's just been phenomenal. And so for that reason, like the aggression that I didn't expect to see out of Evan Mobley specifically, but then also just how well obviously the pressure is alleviated for both Harden and Donovan Mitchell because of each other. This is not a series. It's going to go 5 max. Like maybe the Raptors get
It's
one.
not gonna go it's not gonna go 5.
Right now, there's 36 seconds left till half, and the Cavs are up 2, so it is a game right now. But if they don't steal
They're
this
gonna
one,
win.
it's gonna be a sweep, and that sucks because I expected that one to be probably 6 and, like, a competitive 6.
Look,
Um,
right now,
but
the Cleveland is I haven't trusted them either. I haven't had them in my top 5. Um, they're playing really good
the
right now. That's all I can
Cleveland-Boston, conference finals could be really fun
that would be epic.
because Cleveland's gonna play, the Pistons in the second round, and right now, if nothing changes for either of
Uh,
these teams, I
Cleveland
don't see
beats
a way
the
the Pistons
Pistons.
beat
Cleveland beats
the
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 Pistons.
Cavs. Yeah. So Cleveland getting the conference finals and then probably Boston on the other side. Could be New York, but probably Boston on the other side. Like it'll be fun.
It's not gonna be New York.
I don't think so. But
Speaking of New York, I'm not sure they get out of this round. Okay, we got their 12th, we got their f and their 2 fifths this year. That's pretty
I
good.
mean that's good. That's good for us.
Move
I
1
mean
spot, that's pretty good.
the Cowboys had a lot of capital, and so we're getting some good amount of it. Obviously, we've got holes everywhere. We've talked about our biggest needs, being
But
receiver,
to move 1
DB,
spot to get
but we've
2
got a lot of
fifths
needs. So
and
just
the fir
getting
and
more
your
bodies is big. Getting
yeah.
more bodies is big.
Yeah,
I like
no, I
that.
mean,
Now, unfortunately, they're probably going to take a guy that I really wanted to take here. But if we could trade back a spot and still get Caleb Downs, I'd love that. Yep, there he goes, Caleb Downs. But
they had to take him.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. We can still get Ruben Bain at 12, which will be interesting. We can still get
Well, we
Makai
could do
Lemon,
Bang, we could do Lemon, or Thieneman's still out there.
Thieneman, or we could who's also a really good safety in his own right. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves because Caleb Downs has been is like like an insane talent, athletically and just like in the box and all that. And Thieneman is more of a free safety, so it's a little bit less flashy. But
I
Thieneman
mean,
is an
look, I think we
incredible
have a lot of
safety.
options here. There's 2 other options that are intriguing.
We can also still go
One's
Monroe
McCoy,
Freeling.
one's McCoy. The other one that I find intriguing, I don't think we'll do it, and I'm not saying I want us to do it, but I don't hate it, would be going Sadiq, getting Malik
Yeah,
a safety blanket.
yeah, and then also Monroe Freeling, kind of same vein, just athletic freak at tackle. I mean, it would be
Now, the guy I thought we would pick is still available, and that was Lemon.
that's
That's who
fair.
I thought we would take here. Um,
Yeah, at 11, I really wanted us to take Caleb Downs, but now that he's not there, I am definitely
I
okay
didn't
with
think he
Makai
was gonna
Lemon.
die. Cause I had him going at 7 to Washington.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'd definitely
so
be okay
back
with.
to playoffs.
Yeah,
Let's move to the
Knicks
Knicks.
Hawks, Knicks Hawks.
Look, I don't know who's gonna win this series.
It's tight.
Legitimately.
It's tight.
Cat's been playing pretty good. He
Yeah.
can't play a lick of defense. Obviously, Brunson's Brunson. But right now, man, this Atlanta team, they're shooting all on
I
all
mean,
cylinders
it's
right
kind
now,
of
and
been
they're
the story that we've been saying all year. It's just the team of misfit toys that wasn't supposed to be good, and they all are so improved. Jalen Johnson, first time All
I
Star.
mean,
Nikhil
we just
Alexander Walker's a 20-point per game
you
scorer
called
now.
out in that Minnesota series, you called out Gobert. Can I just say, McCullough, come on.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing I wanted to bring up too is I said the last note I said last week when we were talking about this series, and I said that I think what it ultimately comes down to why I'm picking the Knicks is because in clutch time, the Knicks have Jalen Brunson and the Hawks have CJ McCollum, who's no slouch, but he's not Jalen Brunson. Guess what? In that game, he scored 32 in game 2, and he was phenomenal down the stretch. Like
Well,
CJ
and the
McCollum
clutch
shut
shots
me
he
up.
hit, the clutch shots he hit in that game.
Yeah.
I think he was always underrated because he always, for a lot of his career, he was standing next to Lillard, right? And you're going to get a little overshadowed.
Well, and
But come on,
not only do you get overshadowed by Dame, but then of course
you
we've
don't
talked
have
about for
a
so
defender on you either. Yeah,
what?
but you also don't have their best defender on you either because he's
Sure,
on Dame.
but the other thing is I was going to say is not only do you get overshadowed by Dame, but then the entire reason that he got underappreciated while he was there was because his whole career we were just talking about the fact that they should trade him. for Dame's sake, because a backcourt of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum can't guard a brick wall. So like they can't guard the broadside of a barn. Like they can't do anything defensively, and so they're scoring 60 a night or 55 a night, but then giving up 50 probably. So still a net positive, but not by as much as it could have been.
So, right now, I'm probably still picking the Knicks because I really trust Brunson,
I mean, but they're
but
down right now 10 in game 4 or in game
I
3
know,
in the 4th.
I know, I look,
It's
I don't
tough.
trust them.
And Kaminga, for
Um,
what it's worth, Jonathan Kaminga, as part of that Warriors trade mid-season to get off Porzingis, has been really good. He had 19 off the bench in game 2, and he's got 19 off the bench right now in game 3. Like, he's been really good. CJ McCollum's having another solid day. He's got 18. Jalen Johnson's got 16, 7, and 6 right now.
yeah,
And then
my gut
Nikhil.
still wants to say Knicks, but this is the one series right now I don't feel confident. There's 2 series I don't feel confident in calling, and this is one of them.
So as of Wednesday,
There's
I
7.
as of Wednesday when I was recording, I only changed my mind on one original prediction I had from the start of the playoffs. So I still went Knicks here, but if they end up losing game 3, this could start to become a different conversation, and they're down
Well,
10
if they
right
lose
now in the
game
4th.
3, it's a lot different.
It's a lot different. I'm still picking the Knicks right now
Alright, here we
tentatively,
go.
but it's tight.
I'm picking the Knicks right now. It won't take much for me to change my mind.
All right. Da-na-na-na, na-na-na-na. Dolphins picking. Here we go. Don't make me hate my life, Dolphins, please.
You can't there's almost impossible to go wrong right now.
Well, we did it. Caden Proctor. There we go.
What?
I mean, Caden Proctor's a good
We
player.
didn't have him going till 28 to the Texans.
Listen, I think that's low for sure.
I
I
mean,
think
look,
they,
I had him falling that far because that wasn't necessarily the need of the people in front of him, and I had Blake Miller going in front of him at tackle, Monroe Freeling going in front of him at tackle. I obviously had Fano at 13, and obviously I had Francis going at
so
6, but
so here's what I will say. Here's what
look,
I
he's
will
playing
say.
with a NFL style program, that's good.
Here's what I will
I
say
don't
about
hate
Caden
it, it
Proctor.
just seems early. I don't know.
Here's what I'll say about Caden Proctor and the reason why he could have even gone this high and he did. I prefer Monroe Freeling because he's slightly more athletic freakish, although they're both insane. They're both like 6'6", 6'7", like 330, 340. Like they're both freakishly large human beings with great athletic skills, right? What I will say, the difference that sets apart Monroe Freeling and Caden Proctor in this draft to the other linemen is that we always, whenever we're talking about draft picks, we call them offensive tackles, right? There's 2 tackle positions, right? We always call them offensive tackles, just making the assumption that they can play both sides. And for some guys, they can. Some guys, they can't. Some guys, because it is quite literally completely flipping everything you have to do. So some guys don't make that transition well. So the difference with Caden Proctor and Monroe Freeling compared to Spencer Fano, compared to Francis Maui Noah, compared to these guys like that, is that they were true left tackles in college. Uh,
But to your
Spencer Fano
point,
was not.
the important
Uh,
but hold on. To
Monroe
your point,
Freeling
the
was not, or
important
not
part
not
about this
Monroe Freeling. Francis Maui Noah was not. Miller was not. Like these guys were played right tackle in college. So if you're concerned about whether or not they can make that flip, take the true left tackle that's also an athletic freak, who showed a lot in college, and like you said, at an NFL style program in Bama. Like it's not a bad pick.
it's not, and I will tell you this, and I think this is important, it ties into what you were saying,
I liked Monroe
which is
Freeling more, but not a
which
bad
is
pick.
you don't draft a tackle in the first round if they're not your starter on the blind side.
Kind of. Now, I will say, Penei Sewell went number 6 for the Lions, and he is the best right tackle in the league by a mile, and like
I
he's
mean,
really
that's
freaking
fair. I'm
good.
not saying it doesn't happen, but they also already had a really great guy at the other side.
Yeah,
My point is, obviously, your blind side tackle, in our case, it's gonna be left, what used to be right, until recently, um, is the most important position outside of quarterback on the offense,
yes.
right? And so they don't, and they get paid that way,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
Um,
And they get
and
picked that
so
way too. I mean, like a lot of
and so
times
but my point
linemen
is
go off the
you
board
don't pick
quicker than they are
one
tonight, and there's already been
but
3
the
go.
point is you don't pick them in the first round if they're not gonna play the blind side typically.
Well, not the highest end of the first round. That's
Right.
typically true. So
So
that's
I
where
like it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a little higher than a lot higher than I had him on my board, but
I would have rathered Monroe Freeling if we're going pure left tackle, but I don't hate it. If you think Caden Proctor's the better player, you think Caden Proctor's the
exactly.
better player. They're
I
both
mean,
athletic
obviously,
freaks.
Georgia's also a pro style organization, or,
Yeah, yeah, for
school.
sure.
So, all right, let's finish the Eastern Conference, and then we'll go out the one I know you're chopping at the bit to talk about. Let's
We
talk
can
about the Celtics.
we can wait.
Look, look, the Celtics are going to win the series. I'm shocked that they lost game two. They could still win this thing in five. Worst case, it goes six. They're clearly the better team. They're going to win this series. They had a down night. It is what it is. No one else other than Brown and Tatum stepped up at all in that game. And so it's a fluke one game.
So
I
so
think they're going to win the next three.
here's what I'm going to say about the Celtics,
So
and
I'm
in
still
this
picking the
series.
Celtics to go to the finals.
Here's what I'm going to say about the Celtics, and I said a lot of this on Wednesday night, so a lot of it's like rehash. But I'm assuming you probably didn't listen to that episode. But
I listened to a bit of it.
okay. Anyway, here's what I said a lot about the Celtics. In both games, we got MVP Jalen Brown, right? Like the guy that looked like an MVP candidate for a lot of this season. We got him in both those games. And in both of those games, Jason Tatum was very impactful. He led the team in rebounds and assists in both of those games. In game one, he scored an efficient 25. In game two, he scored an inefficient, I think it was 21, right? The difference being that in game one, they had 5 players in double digits, including JT and JB. In game two, JT and JB were the only two in double digits.
That's my
That's the
point. No one
difference.
else stood up in
That's
that
the
game.
difference. And then obviously in for the Sixers, nobody played well in game one outside of Tyrese Maxey. And in game two, Tyrese Maxey had 29. Again, very good game. VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, scored 30. That was a big deal. PG was pretty good. Kelly Oubre was pretty good. Andre Drummond, they got into foul trouble early. Andre Drummond had to come off the bench earlier than normal. He was really, really good in the second quarter. They had a great game. The biggest thing for me is if we could guarantee today, if we could guarantee we're getting 3 fully healthy games out of Joel Embiid in the series, we can have a conversation. But considering that's not going to happen, and we definitely can't guarantee it, but considering it's probably just not going to happen, I can't pick the Sixers. This was a one-off game, and they're not going to be able to repeat it. Maybe they repeat it one more time, but not enough to win this series. If they had Joel Embiid, then we can start to have the conversation where, like, maybe, but again, we can't guarantee
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
It's probably not going to happen.
just because the Celtics don't necessarily have an answer for a big, um, that's fair, but that's not going to happen. They're going to get
Oh,
through the series.
and even when he's healthy, Joel Embiid has still been like Joel Embiid, but like he's
No,
been
I
phenomenal
understand that,
this year.
but
But yeah,
and
no,
they
for sure,
wouldn't have an answer for that. That you're not wrong.
for sure. But again, that's like I heard somebody talking about it on YouTube the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, great, we can have this conversation. Like, if Joel Embiid plays, they can win this series." He was like, "Yeah, if I win the lottery, I could date a supermodel." Like, okay, great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, sure, it could happen, but it's not going to. So why are we even talking in these hypotheticals? So,
Yeah.
agreed.
So I think we're in agreement. Celtics are getting through that series. Worst case, it's six. I think it'll be five. I think they're going to win the next three. They're going to be pretty pissed off about that loss. The role players will play better and they'll be fine. Um, okay. Now I'm going to ask you when we start talking about this, let me finish some thoughts before I give you your opportunity
Okay,
because I need to finish some thoughts on this.
okay, you're gonna be
Obviously,
wrong about a lot.
I'm not, everything I'm going to say is factual. So
Okay, I don't want to
first,
hear one opinion out of you.
they're not opinions.
Okay,
So first, let's just acknowledge the fact I was wrong about this series from the outset.
agreed.
Okay.
For what
So
it's worth, I picked the
they
Rockets too. So
yeah, I thought they were going to sweep them. I
this
just
is
didn't think
this is for what it's worth, this is the only series when I was talking in my solo episode, this is the only series of the first round ones that I picked where I changed my pick after 2 games.
okay.
So,
So I- I'm not going to make a pick. I'm going to point out some facts and then we'll see where it goes. Okay. So the first thing when it comes to the Lakers, and let me get through some of this without arguing with me. The first thing is everybody from the Lakers perspective is making the story about LeBron and what he's doing at 41. And I'm not saying it's not impressive, but he has been a very inefficient scorer in this series, right? Oh, it's just true. If not for Smart and if not for Kennard, they still lose games one and two. right? They're both playing out of their mind right now from 3. Their shooting percentages are pretty good. I think they were both 7 and 12 in
All right,
game
I wanna
2.
cut you off for a
And
second because I don't want you to get interrupted again, but the Rams are making their pick, so I wanna be able to
okay,
get there before
got
you
it.
get too deep into it.
Yeah.
Um Wow! Oh my gosh!
I do not get that
I
pick
mean, okay,
at
but
all.
this is exactly what you were talking about the Raiders. If you want to have an optimal scenario where you have a guy learn behind a guy,
You're
who
not
better
wrong
to
about
learn
that.
behind than the reigning
There isn't
MVP
anyone better. There's no
who
one
has a
better, and
ring?
there's no better coach.
I really thought they were going to go more full in on the this is maybe Staff's last year, let's get him a ring and
I
go
mean, literally
receiver
in
or
my
go
mock
whatever.
draft, yeah, literally. Well, but I don't think they need to. That's what I was saying. They don't
No,
need a
no,
receiver.
and okay, here's the thing. Can they win it
I
without
had
doing
him
that?
taking
Yes.
Fano. I had him taking Fano at tackles. What I had him
Wow.
taking. Look, here's the thing.
Wow.
To your
Hold on.
point,
Did
you think
we
we're
actually
second
say it out
guessing?
loud? Obviously, you're gonna know whenever you're watching this, but for that what it's worth, Ty Simpson just got picked by the Rams at 13. Okay. Wow.
Look, here's the thing. I only had one quarterback going in this round.
I mean, me too, because I didn't include trades. But if I had included trades, I definitely would have had somebody trading back up into the
So
late
here's
20s
what I'll say.
taken.
I don't hate it. There hasn't been a lot of success with Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL. Tua had a couple of a great year and some other years.
One of them's got
Mac
a ring,
Jones,
but
good
sure.
year last year in San Francisco,
One of
but
them's got a ring.
understood. Um, but here's my point.
You're not gonna push back on
I
me
don't
on an Alabama quarterback having a ring.
whatever. I mean, technically, it's not false. Anyway, but he didn't end his career there.
No,
Um,
but
anyway, my point being is,
and
if
he's overrated.
anyone's
But
going to make this work,
it's definitely Sean
it's
McVay.
Sean
Absolutely.
McVay
And
and Matthew Stafford.
again,
So I
learning
don't
behind you
hate it.
can't learn behind a better guy in the league
Now, I
currently.
guarantee you they don't make this pick without telling Stafford they're doing it.
No, absolutely. This was not a screw Stafford moment. This is
No,
my assumption would be this is Stafford probably being transparent with them, like this is my last year. Although,
or even if he had 2 years, it's still
right,
not bad.
right, because then you still get 2 full years of Ty Simpson on the rookie contract before you have to decide like, oh, are we going to give him the 5th year option, which really gives you 3 more years.
Yeah.
And then you still got Puka, you still got
I'm surprised by it, but I don't hate it.
yeah, I mean, for sure. And again, I didn't love Ty Simpson as a first round pick, but if he's going to be a first round pick and have a chance to be successful, this is the best spot for him, for sure. It's very
All right.
interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah, now the question really becomes now, and I don't think the answer to this is yes, but all these teams at the back end of the first that would have considered trading back into the first round for Ty Simpson, the question now becomes with those teams, do we start to have a conversation of a third quarterback going in the first round? And I don't think so. But Ty Simpson
To
going a
me,
lot
Ty
earlier than we
Simpson was a stretch.
expected.
To
The
me, Ty
question,
Simpson was a stretch. I don't think so.
but you say it's a stretch, but
And
he
this
just
is the
went at
only I
13.
say it's a stretch, but this is the only team it would have worked with, I think.
Sure,
He's not ready to start in the league.
sure, agreed. But I guess my point is now if you were a team that was considering trading back into the first round for a quarterback at the end of it, Ty Simpson went probably 14 picks earlier than you're expecting. Do you do it for a third guy? Probably not. Probably not.
No,
There's probably no
no.
Garrett
There's no
Nussmeier.
one it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right now, what I have the Ravens doing is taking Lone out of Penn State, the guard. And then I have the Bucks taking Sadiq at
I think
15.
it's possible Sadiq could go here.
Maybe.
Sadiq,
But I don't
Makai
know.
Lemon.
You still got an
Uh,
elite tight end. You've got a really good backup.
no, you don't. Isaiah Likely's a giant.
That's right. I forgot he signed.
And
Either way,
well, but also Kenyon Sadiq is because he's so athletic and he's not a great blocking tight end right now, and you can
if
learn
they
from
go
Mark in that.
offensive talent, I don't think it's going to be a tight end because you still have Mark Andrews. I
No,
think
no,
it's
no. But
probably
the point I
I
was
think
going to
it's probably you go after Lemon or something like that. But
the point I was going to make here is that because he's such an athletic freak and he's not a great inline blocking tight end at this moment, and you could learn from Mark Andrews in that case. But you could, if you're trying to go receiver or weapon for Lamar, you could just go BPA target. And if you believe that's Kenyon Sadiq over Makai Lemon, you can even probably play him on the outside a little bit at receiver because of how athletic and twitchy he is, and he's still such a big
well, I
body.
think he's 4. Didn't we look him up? He's a 4.3 guy.
Yeah. If I think it's like 4.38 or 4.39, it's the fastest tight end combine time ever.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
he could still just play outside at receiver.
Okay, back
Anyways,
to the Lakers.
Darren Waller
So
type kind of thing.
so first thing is, to me, the bigger story has to do with what your role players are doing in this series so far, and that's those 2 guys. The second thing is, so first, obviously, in game 1, I didn't know Durant wasn't gonna play. Durant was Durant in game 2. Um, he was very
Kevin Durant had
efficient,
9 turnovers in game 2.
other
9.
than turnovers, but did you watch the game? I'll give the Lakers this. I'll give Redick this. They had a very good plan for KD because they weren't worried about anybody else, nor should they have been, it turns out. Every time he got the ball, they doubled him, and he was passing it out of that like crazy. They took exactly who I said they would. Ooh,
I
bam.
mean, that makes sense. You lost, uh Ioane, makes sense there. You lost Tyler Linderbaum in the offseason to the Raiders. The inside of your offensive line right now is not good. He's gonna play guard. He's not gonna play center, but obviously it's a massive help for Lamar. You need guys. You need bodies there.
Yeah.
That makes the
Well,
most
that's
sense.
exactly who I picked.
Yeah, no,
So
I mean that definitely makes the most sense there. In my final mock, I had them going Makai Lemon because he was still available, just to get some receiver help for Lamar. But I definitely think that this is the right pick. I think it's the better pick for team building. I think that this needed to happen. Absolutely, and
so
he's a
okay,
phenomenal
so
player.
Houston, you're right. He had 9 turnovers, but they were throwing everything defensively at him,
But
and they were actually trying to play him.
what about
And
that?
LeBron was being very physical. So anyway, point is, as far as scoring wise, he was very efficient, but he was throwing the ball
Wasn't
away a
aggressive
lot.
either.
Well, but he had 2 guys on him
I
all
think he
night.
only, yeah, sure,
So
but I think he only took like 13 shots in that game. Let me pull up the box
no, but
score.
he was efficient. He still scored over 20.
Yeah,
So here's my point I'm
well,
making.
efficient when he put the shot up, not beforehand.
Yeah, I got it. The role players for Houston were terrible. Do you know how many wide open threes they missed when Durant threw it to him and they just missed them?
Absolutely, but
And
their
that's
offense has been
without talking
terrible all
about it.
year.
Hold on. And then that's not even talking about a guy that's not a role player that was ass. Shangoon was terrible in
Yeah,
game 2.
absolutely.
He was missing he his if you just looked at his stat line, oh, he scored 20. He was 9 of 20, and most of those shots were within 5 foot of the goal.
Absolutely.
He was terrible. He missed like 2 dunks.
It's bad.
He was bad. If any
Yeah,
one of those other guys on that roster that night played average, they win game 2. So
maybe.
my point is this. This could go 7, and the role players that one thing we know about the NBA playoffs in general is that your role players play way better at home than they do on the road, right? So if the Lakers go into Houston and Smart and Kennard no longer play as good, but the role players for Houston step up, they're going to win the next 2 games. And it's going back to LA. This could be Lakers in 7 because they have home court.
Okay, so are we ready for me
I,
to take over
I,
now?
Hold on. So what I'm saying is right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to make an assumption in game 3 and game 4 that the Houston role players will start playing better and that the role players for the Lakers will do what low role players do on the road, right? In the playoffs. This is traditionally true. Not of every team, right? But of great teams, it's not. Average teams or worse, that's what happens. And that's what these 2 teams are. So to your point, they're both very flawed rosters. So if that occurs, this could go 7 games and the Lakers win because they're just the last one with the home field. They have home court, right? So right now I would pick the Lakers, but I think it goes 7. I think no one wins a road game in this series.
Agree. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. All right, I'm ready for me to take over now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, this was the only one that I changed my original prediction from on Wednesday when I was talking. I took Lakers in 7 at the end of this, and the biggest reason for that, there were 3 reasons that I picked Lakers in 7, right? The first of which, they have home court. That matters a lot, especially in LA, right? Second of which
Yep.
second of which, LeBron James in game 7, I understand he's 41. It's LeBron James in game 7, right? Third of which, if this series goes 7, I don't see a way that Luka Doncic doesn't force himself onto the court in game 7. Okay? And
Maybe.
that matters.
But in this series, I don't know if it does. I don't know if a road team is going to win a game in this series. And the other thing, and I'm not a LeBron fan. I still think he's probably the second or third best player of all time. It's not like I don't think he's a good basketball player or has been a great basketball player. I just don't think he's
Can we
the
stop the
basketball
or
player.
third? Like, can we just agree that the top 2 are the top 2 no matter which order you have them in? Can we just say
I
that?
can't completely
Okay,
concede that.
okay, so here's my problem. Here's my problem.
Can
Here's
we
my
get off
hold on.
that for a minute? I want to finish what I was saying about the
Okay,
series because that's
okay,
important right now. I
and
don't want to have the GOAT debate right now.
okay. I don't wanna have the
What I
GOAT debate right now. That's not what I was gonna
Well,
say.
I was about to give him some flowers
Okay,
if you'll
go
just
ahead.
shut
Give
up.
him some flowers. Do it.
Last night was the first night in a very long time where he was expending a whole lot of energy on
He
defense.
was gassed by the end of the game. He was gassed.
Well,
You
and
could
that's
tell.
the one concern you have to think about. If he doesn't play like he has in game one and game two, I don't know.
Agreed.
So I have not seen him exert that much energy in a basketball game in a really long time,
You know why?
and
It's the
even more
playoffs. Playoff
so
LeBron's different
and,
beast.
until he's tired, right? So
Still a
you're
different
right,
beast.
he was gassed because he was playing both sides of the ball every time down. He was not standing on the court, which is what I saw through most of the regular season this year. So I will give him his flowers. He exerted tons of effort last night to get that win. Can he keep it up for the next 5 games, which is what it's going to take? I don't know,
Possible. Now,
but I'll give him his flowers.
in
That was the
fairness,
most effort I've seen him put on defense in a very long time,
for what it's worth, he doesn't have to keep it up for the next 5 games. He just has to be able to keep it up for 2 of the next 5 games. Right?
which would be the home games when he
Sure.
has some help, for sure.
Here's what I'm
I
gonna
don't
say.
expect. I'll say this: in Game 3, I expect him to try to put the same amount of effort he did in Game 2 because he knows if he can win Game 3, the chances of you losing the series are slim and none.
They're
Right?
literally 0.
Only
I mean, it's never happened.
I thought it had happened once
No.
and thought he was part of it.
No, no, there's only been one 3-1 comeback in the
Oh,
finals, it
3-1.
was him.
Okay, 3-1. Right. So I expect him to exert that much energy in Game 3.
Okay.
If they lose Game 3, I don't expect that in Game 4.
After the Bucks make their pick, we will Ruben Bain, the slide finally ends. The fall finally ends.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain Jr. to the Bucks. I mean, it makes sense. They just
I
needed
mean,
help
I
on
didn't have him
defense.
much higher. I had him at 12 to the Cowboys originally.
Um, I had
I
him
think the
at
Jets should take. I think Jets take the best cornerback available, which is what I had him taking right now is McCoy. Tennessee, that's who I think they should take here. But
I had them in my last mock taking Avion Terrell because Jermod McCoy was already off the board, but same position, so I think that makes a lot of sense. However, at
yeah,
2, considering they already went defense, I think they should double up on defense, but it wouldn't shock me, especially because my Mekhi Lemon's still on the board, to see them go receiver. It wouldn't shock me to pair
I mean, you
alongside
got
Drake.
a defensive head coach. You still are definitely not settled at quarterback right now.
Absolutely, for
Um,
sure.
I think you've got a year or two guy while you wait for somebody to better draft.
Well, hopefully
I think
hopefully if you're a Jets fan, it's a year, and then you've got a top
yeah,
pick next year, and you're taking Quinn
I think
Ewers or
their
something
only
not a fan.
chance to I mean, they've got to become a dominant defense, especially with their head coach. I'm not spending any of these picks in these first 2 rounds on anything but defensive
Agreed. I
minded.
mean, I think especially with Jermod McCoy on the board still, it's a great pick. Now, the other concern right now with Jermod McCoy is the fact that we knew, obviously, he hasn't played in a year and a half due to tearing his ACL at Tennessee, but it recently came out, and this is a concern. People weren't concerned about the ACL thing necessarily and the fact that he hasn't played. What is a concern now is it came out recently. I forgot exactly what it was, but that he had another knee injury that might need another procedure that's not related to the ACL. That could be a concern because then it starts to become like a chronic thing, and now you're really worried about him being injury prone. That could be concerning. That could cause him to fall quite a ways. However, he is still just a great player. So
Yeah.
I did see
And this
for that
Bane pick,
reason. I did see for that reason somebody mock him today to the Dolphins at 30 because of the injury concerns. If we got Jermod McCoy at 30, I'd be ecstatic as a player. So we'll see. But
yeah, I mean, I love it, but I can't imagine that's going to
no.
happen.
But again, the other potential injury concerns are potentially real. No, I
I
don't know.
love this pick for Tampa. I also, it's not a big move for him, so that's good for him too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
he's in a no income tax state, so
true.
you know.
And Ruben Bain, I mean, he had a very good season. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's a great player.
Um. So anyway, I would pick the Lakers today because I don't think anybody's going to win a home game in this or a road game in this series. I
Okay.
just don't.
So here's what I'm gonna say. I appreciate you giving him the most minor flowers possible. I think we need to give LeBron James a lot more flowers in this. And you tried to downplay him at the start when you're like, everybody's talking about LeBron James. First of all, yes, Luke Kennard was phenomenal in both these games. And yes, Marcus Smart was really good in game two, not in game one, but in game two. Do we not think that a lot of that is the playmaking of LeBron James? Yes, obviously they still have to hit the shots, but between two games, he's got 21 assists. He's been phenomenal. And can we not just give him the absolute flowers through two games of this series, one of which, by the way, had Kevin Durant on the court, and Kevin Durant will be an All NBA player this season, right? Had Kevin Durant on the court through two games at the age of 41, LeBron James has been the best player on the court in a playoff series. That's insane. He's been phenomenal in game one. He had an efficient 19, but
I don't know
more
that I
important.
can say he's been the best player out there.
Yes, okay.
Kennard,
Okay,
Kennard
I literally
statistically been
said
the
this.
best
I
player out
literally
there.
said this on Wednesday. I literally said LeBron James had been the best player on the court through two games, and then rolled my eyes and I said, Dad would try and come on here and say it was Luke Kennard. Stop. Yes, Luke Kennard has hit his shots. Yes, that's
When you
valuable.
post this, make sure you put the numbers next to each other when you're talking about this.
It's not all numbers. It's impact. And for what it's worth,
Yeah,
LeBron's numbers have been
Kennard doesn't have
great
those 2 games.
also.
If Kennard doesn't have those 2 games, they're down 0-2.
Okay, if LeBron doesn't have the games that he had, Luke Kennard doesn't have the games he had, right? Luke
don't know
Kennard doesn't
that.
do what he did without LeBron's playmaking. That doesn't happen.
Anyway, I give him kudos, and you're like,
No,
going off on
but you said in the most basic sense, you said, "Oh yeah, he tried." No, he didn't try. He was the best player on the court
effective. What I said was, I haven't
at
seen
41.
hold on. I have never said that LeBron James can't play defense. I've never said it. He's an elite defender when he wants to be, but he hasn't wanted to be in a long time.
The Jets go Kenyon Sadiq, athletic freak,
I don't hate it.
and
I think they need defense, but I don't hate it.
I agree. I would have gone defense if I'm them, but athletic freak, especially working under the assumption that maybe they get their quarterback of the future in next year's draft. That gives you a great safety net. I mean, he's 6'4", 245, and athletic freak, just insane speed. Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
want to guard him.
yeah. I mean,
So
he's
anyway,
way too fast for linebackers, and he's way too tall for DBs. Like you can't match up with him, except for with like Kyle Hamilton.
what I was saying is, I've never said LeBron James wasn't an elite defender when he wanted to be,
I
but it's
know.
been a while, and he hasn't been giving effort. He did it last night. Now we'll see what impact that has long term, whether he can keep that level of play up. I think he will. I think he will do everything he can to bring that energy in game 3. Because if you win game 3, you know you're getting through the first round.
My only complaint was that you're selling him short. He has been the best player on the court through two games of a playoff series at the age of 41.
Even if I concede that, then that's because there's no one else out there.
I know. Well, but again, in one of those games, an All-NBA player was on the court, and he was the best one.
The second game, and he was double teamed the entire time.
Agreed.
There was no double teaming LeBron.
Well, sure, but part of that's because you can't right now. Their shooters are playing well.
Let me ask you a question.
You also can't double team LeBron because his playmaking prowess defeats double teams. That's part of the problem with Kevin Durant is he doesn't have that playmaking prowess. He's not beating the double team with his playmaking, which is why he had 9 turnovers.
Fine. Outside of playing Orlando right now, outside of maybe playing the Raptors, what series could you put him in where he would have been the best player in that series? Outside of maybe those two teams.
I think he competes, and in fairness, I think that's slightly unfair to Scotty Barnes. And for what it's worth, like he's a great player for the Raptors as well.
I'm not saying he couldn't be. I'm just saying outside of maybe those two teams.
I think that he competes in both of those series to be the best player. I think he competes in the Hawks series with Jalen Johnson to be the best player. Like if he's playing the Hawks, obviously not Jalen Brunson.
Fair. I'll give you that.
He would compete, especially with the way he's playing right now. He'd compete with Devin Booker. He'd compete with Denny, maybe, although Denny's been really, really good in the Blazers series. I do grant you that I do believe, for what it's worth, had the Lakers played any other team in the Western Conference field right now, they would lose it, right? Maybe they'd beat the Suns, maybe.
And he wouldn't be the best player in the series on any of these other teams.
Well, Again,
except for maybe the
against the
Trailblazers, I
Blazers, he
suppose.
could be. Against
Yeah.
the Suns, he could be, but it'd be a conversation. I do grant
I
you
mean,
that.
Booker probably plays better than him in that series, but
I do grant you that. I think that's possible. And again, like I was saying, I do think had they played literally any other team in the Western Conference playoff field, they don't beat them. Like maybe they'd beat the Suns, but that's about it, right? I do think this is
in
the absolute
fairness,
perfect
hold
matchup
on.
for them to win.
In fairness, for the rest of the series, he still may not be the best player
No,
if
absolutely.
Durant starts to
I
Durant
mean,
ball.
that's fair. Now, again, they've got a much easier way to shut down Kevin Durant than the Rockets do, vice versa for LeBron, because nobody else on the Rockets can play basketball right now. So that's part of the problem.
But that's gonna change when they go home if
Maybe,
history said anything. If
maybe,
history
but here's the
holds
problem.
true.
Here's the problem. It's not just role players play bad on the road. That obviously that's part of it, right? But the Rockets are just a terrible offense. Like this is nothing new. This has been an all year.
Hawks took game 3.
They did officially. It ended. I mean, man,
Yeah,
that's tough. But so here's what I wanted to
that is
start.
unexpected.
Here's here. I literally read it off right in game one. Right in game one, there's no Kevin Durant. Right. So I read this off on the podcast that I did on Wednesday. Jabari Smith Jr. in game one for the Rockets shot 5 of 14. Alpi shot 6 of 19. Amin Thompson, 7 of 18. Reed Shepard shot 6 of 20, right? They were atrocious in game one without Kevin Durant. They were horrible. And Tari
They
Eason was
were
the
horrible with it.
and Tari Eason was the only one that had any offense, and he went 7 of 7 off the bench, right? And then Kevin Durant comes back, and Kevin Durant was relatively efficient, right? He shot 7 of 12 in that game, although you'd like to see him take more than 12 shots if you're Kevin Durant, right? However, the reason he only
They were
took 12
doubling every time as soon as he went over the
well, that's
half
what I'm
court.
saying. The reason he only took 12 shots in that game is because they didn't care about literally anybody else, and they forced him to commit 9 turnovers. We're not talking about
And you know
Russell
what?
Westbrook or
Right.
James
And you know
Harden.
what they were doing? It was interesting because at one point, Houston tried to make an adjustment, and KD wasn't bringing the ball up the court,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
what we're doing when he had the ball up the court is they would double him as soon as he went over the half
right,
court line.
right.
But then what they were doing, and this was pretty brilliant, um, because he was actually playing defense. When it was 1-on-1, they put LeBron on him, and so it was a very, very physical matchup. Let's
And
just
that's
put
the
it
only
that way.
guy that athletically can compete with Kevin Durant, right? Like on
Correct.
yeah.
So again, it took a lot of energy to do what they did to him. But even in those cases where it was 1-on-1, it was him, around the top of at the elbow, waiting for the ball. They'd pass it to him, and I mean LeBron would be arm barring and be right on him, and KD would almost always have to pass out of it. Um, so and also in fairness to KD, there was at least 3 or 4 of those turnovers. He threw the ball right to the guy, and the guy just missed it.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah. I mean
yeah.
that's partially true. But again, the biggest reason why this is acceptable and this is
I have
okay.
I have the Lions taking CJ Allen out of Georgia.
No, they're gonna go offensive line for sure, especially with Monroe Freeling still on the board. Like Monroe Freeling just makes too much sense at left tackle. They need help. It's
Yeah, that's
absolutely
probably
true.
true.
Shout out, Make a Wish. This kid's gonna get to pick the Lions pick.
That's pretty
Um,
cool. Nuggets just tipped off.
Shout out Eason with Make a Wish. This is dope. Gotta love these kind of moments from the NFL here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, Shout out Eason here. They're gonna go Monroe Freeling. I think that makes the most sense. It'd be kind of a shock if they don't. Wow. Okay, they still went tackle. They go Blake Miller though. I mean, listen. Here's the thing with Monroe
You can't
Freeling.
go wrong with either of those 2 guys.
Well, here's the thing with Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling shot up draft boards, mock draft wise, because he is just like Caden Proctor, one of the only high prospects that actually played true left tackle in college, which to your point is much more valuable. And then also he's athletic freak, crazy profile, but he was a little bit more raw as a prospect. Like people didn't like his like pure pass blocking skill as much. And so that becomes a little bit of a concern. You gotta like coach him up. Whereas with these guys come in as more like known quantities at actually blocking. And so you like that a bit more. But again, with Blake Miller, he's played right tackle his entire career in college. So I would assume if you're the Lions, you try and push him over to the left tackle because you do have the best right tackle in the game in Penei Sewell, and you don't want to kind of mess that up. But then the question becomes, if you want to optimize Blake Miller, maybe he's better at right tackle. Maybe you do try and move Penei to left tackle because he is such a great tackle and hope it works. Penei did play left tackle in college, so he already made that switch once. You could probably make the switch back. It
Um,
just becomes an interesting conversation.
yeah,
Point
I
is,
had Miller going at 27. I had Freeling going to the Steelers at 21.
yeah.
Um, I don't hate it. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean
don't
I
think
mean, Blake Miller, I mean, we knew the whole time the Lions were gonna go offensive
so
line. He's a good player.
I had the Vikings taking Emmanuel McNeil-War out of Toledo. Now I think they'll take McCoy.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
I
no,
think
they're gonna go I mean, the most, uh, easy mocked pick the whole cycle, they're gonna go Thieneman, absolutely. Um,
I keep forgetting it's still on the board now. Yeah, because I had him going at 10 to the Giants. You're right, that's who they'll take.
I
I
mean,
forgot he was
Dylan
still there.
Thieneman has been the most, like Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings has been the most, like, easy pairing for everybody in the mock all year.
Yeah, but I didn't have him available,
I know.
right? I had him going to the Giants.
Wow! That's insane. Caleb Banks is a pretty good player, but he had slipped all the way out of most people's first round picks because he had a major foot injury in college, which whenever you're
I
that
had him
size, whenever you're a
I had
defensive,
him at 20 I had him at 26 to Buffalo is where I had
yeah,
him.
but whenever you're that size and you have a foot injury, that's really concerning to people. So most people had him falling out of the first round, but he's a great talent. Just taking more guys for Flores to coach up on defense makes sense. I just really thought it was going to be Thieneman. That's kind of crazy. I think the Panthers, if you get Thieneman and it says the pick is already in, I think they're rushing because I think that if you're the Panthers, you thought there's no chance Thieneman makes it past the Vikings, which is wild. If you're the Panthers and you can get Thieneman at 19, I think you love that. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely,
I think
truly.
so. Now I had them getting Jordan Tyson, but of course she went a lot earlier. The question is, do you want help or do you even want to bolster that line? Although their line's decent because you got
You can
Freeling,
definitely see linemen, especially with Monroe Freeling still being on the board.
but
Um,
I had Jordan Tyson going there.
I think that I think that there's absolutely no way that they're not gonna go Thieneman here. I mean, I think it just makes too much sense. Again, like you.
I can't believe he's fallen this far.
Oh, also the I didn't see it till just now because it still hasn't come up on the screen, but I just checked Adam Schefter. The Eagles are trading up to 20, which is really interesting because that's an interdivisional trade in the draft. Very weird to see that. You don't see it a ton. You do see it occasionally. The Lions traded up to take Jamison Williams on draft night with the Vikings, but you don't see that a ton, typically speaking. But Dallas is moving back with the Eagles, so we'll see who they take. I don't have any news on who that is, but anyways, we're in a commercial break. I'm gonna go back to the Rockets here for a second. Like I said, in game one, everybody was inefficient, and then in game two, Kevin Durant was efficient, but again, only took 12 shots, and the biggest reason for that is because he got doubled every time up the court, like you're saying, and so they forced the ball out of his hands, and it's turnover, 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 because he's not a playmaker, so he's not able to crazily well take advantage of a double team because that means somebody else is open, but he can't take advantage of it, and even on the off chance that he can,
He took
they're making
advantage of it.
no,
Didn't
stop,
make the shot.
stop, stop, stop. He can't take advantage of it. He had 9 turnovers, right? So here's what I'm saying. He doesn't take advantage of that the way that a Russell Westbrook or a James Harden or a LeBron James would, right? Like somebody's open, right? But the other problem for the Rockets is let's pretend for a second he could take advantage of it. It wouldn't
In
matter.
fairness, he got it to open guys all night.
So not all night. He had 9 turnovers, right? But again,
Some of those were dropped passes.
sure. Anyways, my point being, kind of going to that point, is that even if he theoretically could take advantage of a double team, which he can't to the level of some of these other guys, he's not an elite playmaker, right? Even if he could take advantage of them, the biggest problem for the Rockets right now is it wouldn't matter. Get it to Amin Thompson wide open, get it to, Reed Shepard wide open. Who cares? It doesn't matter. They can't hit the broadside of a barn right now. They're terrible. So
Which happens on the road. So we'll see what happens at home. That's the
well,
plan,
but
I think.
again, that's been the story of the Rockets offense all year. It's been Kevin Durant offense or no offense all year. So my point being, In game one, everybody was inefficient. In game two, Kevin Durant was efficient, but only took 9 shots because as soon as he got past half court, he had two guys on him, had 9 turnovers. Brutal for Kevin Durant. And then you look at the other guys, and once again, Jabari, 7 of 16, Alperen Sengun, 9 of 20, right? Amin Thompson shot somewhat efficient, 6 of 10 finally, but then you see Tari Eason off the bench, who last game was 7 of 7, and this game was 4 of 14. Like,
But hold on.
nobody shot
Let's
the ball
also
well.
let's also not forget a very important fact here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with anything you just said because it's basically what I said. What I will say is, let's not forget, this is a 4-5 matchup. The Lakers were like a game and a half better than Houston this year, and most
One
of
game.
that
Yeah.
time had Luka and Austin Reeves. So the rosters are basically healthy as far as they are, right? The Lakers are not, and there was only a game and a half difference. This team can beat the Lakers.
Well, that's what I'm saying
They
right now.
played they played terribly in the first 2 games, and you got real effort out of LeBron. Can he keep that up? Does he have the energy to do it? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the panic button is really dangerously close to being majorly pressed for the Rockets right now because again, kind of like you said, these teams talent wise should kind of go with each other, except for the fact that Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are both not playing for the Lakers, so it should be extreme tilt Rockets, and they're down 2-0. And again,
But the role players were terrible in LA.
again, my point is I don't expect that to be a ton. It'll be slightly different in Houston. I don't expect it to be a ton different. This is what their offense has been all year. It's bad.
And they were only a game and a half behind the Lakers, who have 2 elite offensive players.
Monroe Freeling to the Panthers. That makes sense. I mean, the slide for Monroe Freeling went further than I expected it to.
Now, I expected him to go at 21, so this is a little higher than I had him on my board.
I expected him to go higher than this by a significant margin. Again, kind of like what we were talking about, just because he is a true left tackle, and so I expected him to go higher. I think this is big to shore up your offensive line a little bit to protect Bryce Young. The Dylan Thieneman slide right now is kind of insane. Those are two guys
I
that I
mean,
never
Dallas
expected to
has
get
to take
behind.
him. Dallas has to take
Well,
him.
they're not. They're like, that's what I told you. They traded the pick to Philly. So,
Oh, okay, well, they hadn't updated it on my screen yet.
well, but I told you that already. So,
I know you said it, but they didn't update it till just now.
no, I know, but I had already told you that. Is what I'm telling you.
Anyway, I have ESPN on. They didn't.
I'm confused
What
on
did they
what we're.
get? They got so they got the 23rd pick.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it would be just like a swap, and then maybe
What would they be trading up for?
probably to jump Pittsburgh and
Maybe they want Lemon?
the Chargers. It could be for Lemon, or it could be for offensive line help, just because their offensive line is Lane Johnson specifically is old, probably not going to play past this year. Could also be for an edge. So all three of those positions,
Yeah, but
receiver.
what lineman that you would have expected to go this quick is still available? I
Um,
don't have any left in the first round.
I mean, line always goes
I know,
faster.
but any lineman I had going in the first round, they're all gone.
No, I know, but offensive linemen always go faster than expected, just because it's such a valuable position. There's several guys that still could go in the first. They went Mekhi Lemon. That makes sense. I mean, great player. You're gonna trade AJ Brown. You
I
got to
mean,
get some help.
he fell significantly, so that makes sense to me.
He's gonna be your slot guy. He's 5'11", like 190. He's gonna be your slot guy. Or maybe he's like right at 6 foot, but he's gonna be your slot guy and allow Devonta
Oh,
Smith
I
to be
thought he
your
was
X
6'1",
on the
6'2".
outside.
I thought
Huh?
he was 6'1", 6'2". Maybe I'm wrong.
Um, maybe let me.
But I had him going to us at 11.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, he's 5'11". He's 5'11", 195. He's definitely gonna be more your slot guy. He's not insane athletically, but he's very, very technically sound. He's a great route runner. He's got great hands. So he's definitely gonna be your slot guy. You're gonna let Devonta Smith be your true number one at your X on the outside, and then you're gonna trade AJ Brown, and you just got to
God, I
reset,
don't know what
reload, and try and win that.
Pittsburgh does here now. I had them taking Freeling, um, Thieneman, McCoy. Falk,
It could be a lot of guys. Could be Thieneman.
Messidor,
Uh,
maybe Cooper Jr. Uh, that's tough. I had him taking Freeling.
and again, it still could be tackle. Like I said, offensive linemen always go higher off the board
It
than
wouldn't be a tackle I had in the first round if they did.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. They always go off the board faster than expected. There's always guys that shoot up the draft board because tackle is just such a valuable position in the league, and the all the first round ones go fat or go in the first half of the first
Davion
round.
Terrell. I mean, there's some good defensive backs
Dead. He's
on
black.
the
It's
board
not
right now.
Terrell.
Terrell, whatever. Um, I mean, there's some great defensive backs left
Yeah,
on
no,
the
for
board.
sure, for sure. But the last little thing I want to say about the Rockets Lakers is just I think
Not a good
that
start for the Nuggets. It's 14-4 right now. Wolves.
yeah, that's I mean, now in fairness, in both of the first 2 games, a team jumped out to an early 10 double-digit
Yeah.
lead and then lost in both of those
And
games.
see, that's where the strength of the Thunder comes in. If we get a 20+ point lead on you, you're probably not gonna ever have a chance to win
Well,
that game
hold on. The Suns came back.
within 10.
I know,
Good job.
it was a joke.
Anyway, my point is, if we get a 20+ point because of the way we play
For what it's
defense,
worth, though, that was also because
chance
in the early 4th, Jay Will, Isaiah Joe, and AJ Mitchell missed, like, 8 straight threes, it felt like they were terrible.
well, they
Uh,
were in that game. They're not terrible.
I know, no, I said they were in that game,
Yeah.
like,
Anyway,
they couldn't
my
shoot.
my point being, because our defense is what it is, you're not going on a 20-0 run against us.
Right. So,
If we get that
agreed.
kinda lead, the game is
Also,
that's not normal in the NBA, right? The NBA is a game of runs. Not against us, though. You can make a run, but it isn't gonna last more than 10 or 15
what I
points.
will say, lastly about the Lakers Rockets, and this starts to become a real question for the Rockets, is everybody has been talking about Ime Udoka, the coach of the Rockets on social media in the last couple days, and how bad he's been and how he doesn't make adjustments, and it kind of feels that
Well,
way.
he didn't in game 2, that's
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
specifically because you also just see the difference between him right now and JJ Redick. And JJ Redick is we were talking about the game plan against Kevin Durant. JJ Redick has been phenomenal. And obviously part of that, like you said, is buy-in from LeBron, like playing tough, and then your role players playing well, but and then just being also in an optimal scenario against this Rockets team with a limited offense. But JJ Redick's game plan has been phenomenal and it's been brilliantly executed. And Ime Udoka, especially if they go down 3-0. But I mean, Ime Udoka, if they lose the series, probably gets fired. It's been not good.
I mean, look, I will agree with you, he's not making adjustments, but what you at least have to look at, and this just is what it is, right? They lost by what, 8 in the game 1 and 9 in game 2?
7 in game 2, and then in game 1, I think it was 9. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, these are close games in the NBA, right? And when you look at the fact your players were just
sure.
garbage.
But at the end of the day, a
And you
loss is a
still
loss. And
really barely lost. No, a loss is a loss.
but
I'm not
even if
arguing
you
that.
lose by
And
3 in
it
game
should
3, you're down 3-0.
no, if you're down 3-0, the series is over, obviously.
No, but sure. But what I'm
I
saying is like a close
But
loss
hold
is a
on.
loss.
We will learn a lot in game 3 in the sense if he can make adjustments or not. Because if you're the Lakers, you're doing the same damn thing in game 3 that you did in game 2. Right? Now, in fairness, and this is a key factor here, if LeBron can't play at the level defensively that he did in game 2 because of the energy it takes, then that plan doesn't work.
Yeah, probably.
So there's a lot of variables. If he comes up with a plan that adjusts and they can actually get themselves out of that, right? And make the Lakers pay for that strategy, then okay. But I don't know what adjustments he could have made in game 1 and game 2 with how badly everybody else played. It like I said, Ayton played better than Şengün. And Ayton's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Ayton has actually played relatively well in this series. Now, what I will say,
He had 6 points last night, but fair.
what I will say relatively speaking, and I don't know, maybe this is, like, the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life, it's possible, I don't know, right? But the 2 points in his career, and not even to that level right now, it's only been 2 games and he's been solid, right? But the 2 points where he's looked the absolute best in his career were when he was playing for the Suns and they went to the finals, right? And people were like, "Oh my gosh, is he like the 8th best center in basketball?" Right? And then sucked after that. And then right now, he's playing relatively well. Maybe he's just a playoff riser. Maybe DeAndre Ayton sucks in the regular season and is just a playoff riser. I mean, no, I
Maybe.
mean, DeAndre Ayton's not very good, but he's been solid.
The
He's been solid.
bus. The bus is on there, on the stage.
Yeah.
Um, After this pick, we can talk about it for a second, and then we'll do our NFL trivia.
Okay. I do
Got a
have one
draft
other
trivia
thing I
question.
wanted to say on the playoffs because I forgot to mention it whenever we were talking about it a second ago. But
Okay.
after this pick is announced. Okay, we've got a couple seconds because Jerome Bettis is talking about his whatever foundation. I just wanted to shout out Chet Holmgren's defense. Like he's so good, and obviously we knew that he although Wemby won the award unanimously, he was the runner up to
I mean,
DPOY.
any other year, he wins the award.
Yeah. Here's the thing: he's so good defensively. That third quarter from him defensively last night was stupid. He had 4 blocks. He's the first player to have 4. He's the first player. Hold on. The Steelers are picking. Yep. Another tackle. Like I said, literally the next pick. Tackles go off the board
I mean, that's
faster
what
than
they need.
expected.
I mean, they need that, but
Uh, Max Ionacre, like he was really good at Arizona State. Like he's a great player.
the
Um,
Chargers have to take Thieneman at this point.
Maybe, but they could also go tackle. They could also go ed or not tackle. Guard.
I had him taking Messidor from the
You can
U,
you can also.
but that was because Thieneman, McCoy, and Terrell weren't there, and Allen from Georgia's still there.
I mean, CJ Allen definitely could drop out of the first round
There's no
because he's
doubt they're taking a defensive player. They have to take a defensive player.
sure. CJ Allen definitely could drop out of the first round just because he's good. Technically and like running an offense kind of thing, but he doesn't jump off the page athletically or productivity wise.
I mean,
He
if they don't take Thieneman, there's no way the Cowboys don't at 23,
agreed. And if you're the Cowboys and you trade back 3 picks,
and you still
and
get to pick him
then
up.
still get Dylan Thieneman, I think that'd be incredible. Who'd they take earlier? I forgot. The Cowboys. They traded up they took Caleb Downs. Oh, man, if you get Caleb
That's
Down
right.
so they're not gonna take Thieneman.
Well,
Um,
that's true. Same. So then either
Although, I mean,
McCoy or
they do play differently. I mean, Caleb Downs is more of a roamer, like, in the
play one at
box
free
type
and one at
safety, and
strong.
Thieneman is a more of a free safety, so
Yeah,
you
I mean, it
could
could still
definitely
work.
use both at the same time, but I think they would be more likely to take a corner, and Jamad
I mean,
McCoy still being on
so
the board is interesting, so
well, and Terrell's still there too. So
especially because in my mock draft, I literally had them taking Jamad McCoy at 12. If you take Caleb Downs at 11 and then trade back
I mean, I
with
had McCoy at 16 to the Jets, but
sure, but if you take, um, Caleb Downs at 11 and then trade back with your 20th pick, 3 picks, and then still get the guy that I thought you might have taken originally at 12, that's a phenomenal draft if you're the Cowboys, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, Chet Holmgren is the first player to have 4 blocks in 1 quarter in the playoffs in 18 years. Like, insane. He's been so good, and obviously it goes far beyond his defensive value goes far beyond just like the blocked shots, right? Like there was one play where he contested a shot that was missed. They got an offensive rebound, kicked it back out. Another guy drove, and then he blocked the shot. So like that was 2 that
yeah,
he
I mean,
contested right
I don't
there.
know if you
Like
heard what
he's so good.
I don't know if you heard what Shea said after the game, which they asked him about Chet, and he goes, "Well, I mean, he's
Every
the
year that
anchor of
we've
the
had him, we've been the number 1 team in the West, and
well,
that shows.
he's
And
he's never not been a 1 seed."
no, for sure. He's just a winning basketball player, and he was like, "This is a
I don't know.
cliche, and we keep saying it, but
But
he's just a
but
winning
what he but
basketball
what he
player."
but what he said was that he's the anchor of the best defense in basketball.
No, yeah, for sure, and he is.
Right.
Now, for what it's worth,
He's an elite rim protector.
sure, for what it's worth, Chet Holmgren, second best defensive player in basketball. I fully believe that. However, if if Victor Wembanyama had Lee Dort, Cason Wallace, and Alex Caruso, the Spurs would be the best defense in basketball, obviously.
But did
Um,
you see that play last
but
night when Caruso first went in the game
yeah,
and
that
they
that
had that
steal
easy
that
rebound?
yeah.
Classic Caruso.
Caruso's great. Now, that's the one other thing I wanted to mention about us right now, and it's just kind of sad to see, but also like crazy cool for how good we are. Is Aaron Wiggins did not play a second in that game. Jared McCain played. Hold on,
I didn't even remember seeing McCain get in because Mitchell played a whole bunch.
Akeem Mesidor. There we go. Now,
Alright.
here's the thing with the Chargers. With Akeem
I had him
Mesidor.
going or that's the second one, by the way, even with all the jostling, that's where I had him going.
Yeah, honestly, with
'Cause
mock
I had
draft,
it
if you get
yeah.
like the player team combo correct, it's impressive. Like it because it's just
I mean,
hard.
I've done that twice,
Yeah, Akeem Mesidor.
aside from number 1, of course,
Right, but that doesn't
whichever
count, obviously.
yeah,
Akeem Mesidor,
because I had
the
him at
the the
22 with
thing
the
with
Chargers.
the thing with Akeem Mesidor is Akeem Mesidor talent-wise is kinda up there with the top edges in this class. The difference is he played forever in college. He's 25, right? So that's a little bit. But if you're a team like the Chargers and you already have your franchise quarterback, you've got your coach, you've got your OC, right? You've got talent on one side of the ball and some talent on defense as well, right? Your rookie contract in the first round is going to be your age 25, 26, 27, 28 seasons. That's your prime. So if you get 4 prime years out of him and you're a playoff contender and maybe one of those years you can go on a run and who knows, win a ring, who knows, right? But if that's the value you get out of him, you don't have to worry about a second contract right now. The age is
Yeah,
only scary when you're worrying about a second contract. That's 4 years down the line. And the next 4 years of his career are going to be the best 4 years of his career. And guess what? The next 4 years of Justin Herbert's career are also going to be the 4 best years of Justin Herbert's career. So if you get those to line up, fine. Who cares after that? You
yeah.
can worry about
Alright,
extensions later, but who cares after that? So that's the problem
trivia.
with Akeem Mesidor. But that's a great pick for the Chargers. He's phenomenal, great talent. Um, anyways, so the depth for the Thunder. Aaron Wiggins didn't play a second in that game. Jared McCain played literally 8 seconds in the game. I think it was the end of the end of the
I was
second
gonna say,
quarter.
I didn't even remember seeing him get
I
in
think it was
because
the end of
Mitchell
the. It was either the end of the second or the end of the third quarter. I think it was the second quarter. We had a side out. The ball went out of bounds, or it was a foul or something, and there was 8 seconds left in the quarter. So we subbed Jared McCain into the game. I think it was the third quarter. We subbed Jared McCain into the game, just in case we got it up court and had a shooter open, and that could be him.
but it
That was
is
literally
crazy
all
how
he
many
played. He played
people
8 seconds in that game. So my point is, Aaron Wiggins doesn't play. Um, Jared McCain doesn't play. Now, series by series basis, depending on matchup, that could change. But my point is, we've got so much depth. Jared McCain's a guy that for like 3 weeks for us after we traded for him because of injuries was averaging 20 points a night, right?
and let's
And
not
now he doesn't
forget,
play.
there's 3 guys on our bench right now that aren't getting playing time in the playoffs so far. They're starters on other playoff
I
teams.
mean, some maybe. I mean, like Jared McCain or Aaron Wiggins, depending on the team, could be, but they're definitely rotational players on most other teams, right? And they're not even
Well, they're
playing.
on all other
Yeah,
teams.
yeah, yeah. But they're not even playing for us right now, which is crazy.
No, no,
Um,
it's not.
and obviously Nikola
The
Topic
depth
isn't
is too
playing. He didn't
stupid.
play a ton in the regular season, but he's not playing right now either. Like it's just and then freaking Kenrich Williams, who was also a big piece in our playoff run last year. Kenrich Williams not playing, and Aaron Wiggins
To
with
your
a
point,
massive
though, the one thing that Dagnall's been great at, and he was great at it last year, he made some mistakes in the playoffs just like the players did because that's what happens your first big run.
right.
He'll change the players
Yeah,
based
no,
on
absolutely, and that's why I said series by series basis it could change. Maybe we'll have a series where Jared
if
McCain
you
is our
remember,
highest
Jay
minute
Will was
getter up
big
there,
in that Denver series. Jay Will was big on Jokic in that Denver series.
and then
He
didn't
didn't
play
even play
against
in
the
the
Timberwolves. Yeah.
right, he didn't even play after that. So,
So here's the thing I will say there is that it's been shown very clearly. Obviously, our five is our five, right? And then off the bench, it's been shown very clearly. Obviously, Caruso and Kaysen are getting minutes, but then we've got AJ Mitchell, Jay Will, and who am I missing? Alex Caruso, Kaysen Wallace, AJ Mitchell, Jay Will. Oh, Isaiah Joe. Right, those are our five off the bench as of now. Again, could change, but like it's been pretty clear. We've got our five, and then we've got our five off the bench. Now, Dub's not going to play, probably, definitely for the rest of the series. Who knows after that? But Dub's not going to play, so that probably slides either Kaysen or AJ into the starting lineup. I would not be shocked if, for ball handling purposes, it ends up with being AJ starting. for secondary ball handler purposes, and then you get probably Jared McCain a little bit off the bench to fill some of that void from AJ Mitchell not being on the bench anymore. That could happen. So that'll start to change a little bit with Dub not playing. But again, this is just such a great luxury to have as a team. It's just one of the reasons that we trust them to go so deep on a playoff run, and that's a massive, massive deal. So
All right, trivia.
yeah, sure.
Um, what was the question I asked last week? Of all first round in the Super Bowl era, what
First
first
overall
round?
picks to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so similar question. There are 4 first overall picks in the Super Bowl era that played their entire career with the team that drafted them.
Okay.
Who are they?
Okay, so instant tough ones, right? That are like crazy, like off rip. I thought Matt Ryan, but he played 1 year with the Colts, and then I thought Cam Newton, but he played 1 year with the Patriots. So that instantly was like, um, did Aikman go one? No,
He
no, we
did.
he did. Okay, I forgot. I couldn't remember if we. I knew we had talked about him, but I couldn't remember if we had talked about him as being a number one or not being a number one. So Aikman and Elway.
No, Elway was not drafted by the Denver Broncos.
Oh, oh, so it's the team that drafted them because he only played with the Broncos, but he was drafted by was it the Giants?
No, I believe it was the Chargers.
I don't even remember.
Anyway, he wasn't drafted by the Broncos, technically. He was traded the same day, but he was not
Okay,
drafted by
Malachi
them.
Lawrence, edge out of UCF was got one of those guys that got some buzz pre-draft process of maybe jumping into the first round, and he just did for the Cowboys. I mean, if you're the Cowboys,
I know, but Falk was out there still. I
there
don't
are some
know.
people that have concern with Kendrick Falk.
Howell at A&M.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like both of those players more. I think that there were some guys that though have concern with uh Falk just because he doesn't have the pass rushing production that some of your top edges do. But first of all, he can still rush the passer, and more importantly, Keldrick Falk is an elite edge setter and run defender, which would have been massive for the Cowboys to have. I really would have liked Keldrick Falk there, but Malachi Lawrence, you're not going to go wrong there. He's twitchy off the edge, and he had some great production in the Big 12. And listen, if you're the Cowboys, again, wouldn't have been my pick with Malachi Lawrence at 23. But if you're the Cowboys, you traded back a little bit, so you got some value back, still took a good edge, and you got Caleb Downs at 11. I mean, you just had a great defensive draft pick. You did it. You came in and did exactly what you wanted to do tonight. Again, we can talk about the exact player. We're not scouts. They are. Some of them work, some of them don't. Right? We're not scouts.
Definitely don't do this for a living.
Right? They do, and sometimes it doesn't work, so that doesn't necessarily mean much, right? But
Look, say
and
what you will about the Cowboys in general, they're usually pretty good at the
yeah,
drafting.
absolutely. And so I think that based on positional value and needs, you had a great draft tonight. Caleb Downs is elite. You got him at 11, and then you got Malachi Lawrence to play edge. Like this team could be scary next year. Could be if everything meshes and comes together well, which is a big if. But if it does, this team could be scary. If you get a healthy Dak here, and
4
then
players yeah. 4 players drafted number 1 overall in the Super Bowl era that were
okay,
drafted by the team they retired from, essentially played their whole career.
yeah,
You got one of them,
I am curious.
Troy Aikman.
Where did John Elway get drafted by?
I think
My
it
next
was the Chargers.
well, the reason I say that is because I said the
Was it
Giants, you
Eli that
said
or was it Eli that was gonna be the
well,
Chargers?
that's what I was gonna say. I said the Giants, you said the Chargers, and really what we just talked about was the Philip Rivers, Eli Manning swap. So that's why I'm curious. Um, first overall pick by hold on, the Colts, the Baltimore Colts.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right, because John Elway said, if I'll play baseball."
Yeah, yeah, because I think he got drafted by the Yankees maybe in the first round of
Yeah,
the
I don't
MLB
think it was
draft.
he was drafted for sure.
Or maybe it was the Montreal Expos even. I don't remember. Anyways, that's not the point. It's not the point.
Troy
Um,
Aikman, you got 1 of 4.
Terry Bradshaw?
2.
Okay.
1 more quarterback and 1 defensive lineman.
I'm gonna go Roger Staubach. Tough. Maybe no, I'm an idiot. He was like a fourth, sixth round pick, something like that. That was a stupid answer. Don't give me that. Don't listen to that. I literally saw that today. I was thinking of a reel I saw that was like the greatest player drafted by each NFC team ever. He was like a 10th round draft pick or some stupid number like that. That was an idiotic statement. He was just on my mind. Defensive player. Um, was it the same one that I couldn't think of the name of last time?
Yes, yes. Famous OU player.
Oh, not even the one I was gonna think of. Okay, I'm never gonna miss this one ever again. You got good old Leroy.
Leroy Selman.
Okay, but hold on. For what it's worth, I looked him up afterwards. I didn't realize his name is Leroy. I thought we were saying the
Yeah.
name Leroy.
No, Leroy Selman.
That's even worse.
Did you
Like he.
did you Google the Selman brothers? Because they
No,
all played it.
no,
Yeah, anyway.
no. But Leroy. Okay. Also,
T-Rat,
can we just talk about
Leroy
that for a
Selman,
second?
Troy.
I didn't look at his all time numbers, but we were talking about obviously in the last one, first overall picks to make the Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Famer playing in the '80s for the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
Like,
he was a great player.
it's insane. They literally went like 30 games without winning a single one.
And
And
he
he was
played
a
there
Hall of Famer? Like,
9
his numbers
seasons.
must have been stupid. I did see,
He
I
was
think
the
he won
Myles
one
he
Defensive
was
Player
the
of the
Myles
Year.
Garrett of the day, but
You
on a bad team,
you said what?
like a bad defense. He was the Myles Garrett, but on a bad defense.
Okay. All right. Myles Garrett's like a top 5 to 10 defensive player of all time. Like, all right. But anyways, Leroy. Shout out Leroy. I was gonna say, I think Bruce Smith was the name I was gonna guess. But did he not play his entire career with the Bills?
Played the end of his year. It was either the end or beginning of his career. He played somewhere else.
Okay,
I think it
interesting.
was the end
Didn't
of
know
his.
that. Didn't know that. Okay, so the last one is another quarterback.
Yeah,
So
this one's a little misleading. It's true, but
misleading.
his career ended early.
Andrew Luck. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, I mean that all makes sense. That's pretty solid. Got the
I just think Chiefs pick is in, but it's the
I
Browns.
think that at the bottom it hasn't updated. I'm assuming the Chiefs traded for this pick, maybe.
No, they
Or
just
I
had
don't
a
know.
weird draft pickup on ESPN.
That makes me think it was the Chiefs taking Casey Concepcion. Let me look.
It still says Browns.
I know it does, but I'm confused now. Nope, Adam Schefter said Brown, so it must have just been a messed up graphic
I
for
had them picking a receiver, but I had them picking Omar Cooper Jr.
I mean, listen, so Casey Concepcion is definitely he's more twitchy, he's athletic, he's smaller, so he's gonna be a slot. I think he's like 5'10", like 185, 190, somewhere in there. But they've got him 5'11", 5'8", 196. So slightly bigger than I said, but he's very twitchy, very athletic, very fast. His big problem right now, and this is kind of concerning, but it's his hands, right? Like he catches the ball, not technically how you
That's
would
a
like him to.
really big concern.
Sure, but he catches the ball like not with like the triangle that you would like a guy to catch the ball with, but more like just trying to like grab it kind of. So he's had some drop
Yeah,
concerns.
I had Omar Cooper here. Look at some of the catches he made at Indiana.
Sure, but here's
When
the
you
thing.
have quarterbacks that you're uncertain about, they need to have a catch radius, and I just don't see this
Sure,
pick
but
right.
here's the other thing too, right? First of all, that can be coached, just like changing technique and that kind of thing. But the other
Well, but you
thing,
can't coach height, which is
no,
also what.
no, no, but that, anyways. Um, what I will say is that I think that this is valuable whenever you don't have a good quarterback because Casey Concepcion, what he's really great at is once he has the ball in his hands, making stuff happen. So he's a guy that you can definitely put on a bunch of screens and that kind of stuff, short routes, and then he can make something happen after the catch, which is really big when you have a guy that you don't trust to throw the football, right?
Okay, at this
Um,
point, by the way, the Bears have to take Thieneman.
Thieneman or
I had him
defensive
taking a D
line.
tackle here, McDonald
You
is
could
what
go TJ Parker or Peter Woods, something like that.
you just look at the quarterback and the receivers in that division.
Keldrick Faulk could even be.
Thieneman or McCoy has to go here. They just
Yeah.
have to bolster the secondary.
Um, or you could
I
also
don't.
go interior offensive line as well, even though there's not a great player to go there, but it could happen.
No, like I had them taking Ohio State, McDonald. I don't, but that was assuming that Thieneman, McCoy, Allen, Terrell, all those guys are off the board, and they're not. You still have
Right.
Falk available too. Like, so I don't think McDonald would be my pick here. I mean, I would go Thieneman or McCoy is what I would do.
So also here's the thing. I was looking at Schefter talking about it. Obviously, the Eagles have Devonta Smith, but then they also traded for Dontavian Wicks, added Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, and then drafted Mekhi Lemon tonight. Obviously, AJ Brown's gonna be gone, but they've really reloaded that.
Where did Hollywood go?
The Eagles.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, they signed him. They signed Elijah Moore. They traded for Dontavian Wicks. They drafted Mekhi Lemon. So now you're talking about you're trading AJ Brown, and you don't feel bad about it. Like
Hollywood
they're
didn't play with Hurts, right?
no, no, no. But still,
Just Baker. Maybe Kyler?
he was
Baker
drafted the
and
same year as
Kyler?
Kyler. They went out together. So um, I still don't have news on what the Cowboys traded to the Eagles for that pick.
I saw it right after, but I don't remember what it was now. Obviously, part of it was the pick they picked a few picks ago,
I
but
don't think you would have seen it because Adam Schefter hasn't even tweeted it.
I could have sworn I did, but maybe not.
I mean, maybe you did, I guess. I don't know. But there you go. He did. I just hadn't scrolled down far enough. They traded 20 the Eagles got 20 and then Dallas got 23, 114 and 137. So
Again, like, they're stacking up some later round picks right now.
that's
I don't hate it.
based on numbers either a fourth and a fifth or two fifths, but just getting bodies, big deal. And that also helps like later down in the draft if you have
And cheap
guys,
body,
huh?
cheap bodies.
Cheap bodies, but then also if you don't maybe the move isn't even to take all those players anyways. It's also as you get later down in the draft, if there's a guy that you like, 10 spots higher than where you are right now and you think he's going to go, you just trade a couple extra picks and then move back up. You know what I mean? Like and that's where you start seeing a lot of trades in later rounds obviously as we were talking about earlier, but um this is just a fun time of the year. It's interesting stuff to look at.
So
There
we're
you
not
go,
gonna be able
Dylan
to fill.
Thieneman. Yep. All right, you were right. It's a
We're not
great
gonna be able
player.
to fit 'em.
The fact that you
Yeah,
got him at 25 is phenomenal. That's a great
it's
player.
super value at
Yeah,
that point.
absolutely. I mean, great value there. And then, like we've been talking about, you're just loading up cheap players to go on a run in that division. Right now, here's the thing with that division is we keep talking about it year over year like it's tough, and it is. But right now, each division, each team in that division, other than the Bears right now, is trending in the wrong direction, right? Like, not to say that any of them are terrible, right? The Packers do still have Jordan Love, who's a great player. They do still have Josh Jacobs, although he's getting older, but they've lost receiver talent. Um, who knows with Micah? He'll probably be close to ready by week one. He tore his ACL the same week Pat did, so who knows? But that's interesting. Like they're at best treading water, but they're probably treading slight down. Similar with the Lions, who missed the playoffs last year, but they're trending slight down. They've lost offensive linemen, although they did draft one just now, but they lost offensive linemen. They lost David Montgomery, which probably doesn't necessarily hurt you terribly because you still have Jameer Gibbs, but it does change your offense. And then
Look,
defensively,
in
who
that
knows?
division right now, the Bears are definitely trending up.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
But
saying.
I
Is that
also believe the Vikings are.
sure they're
I think
trending up?
Kyler could be a real difference maker
Yeah,
there.
they're trending up,
The
but not
defense
as
is still gonna
drastically
be
as the
great.
Bears.
Well, that's unknown. Coach is proven, defensive coordinator is proven,
So here's what I will say.
that offense is proven if the quarterback can pull the trigger.
Here's the
Kyler
other
is
thing.
capable of doing that.
Here's the other thing I will say. Right, is that with that division, I think that the Packers and Lions are kind of treading water, but trending slightly down. And then you've got the Vikings and the Bears both trending up, but the Vikings are trending up from a 9-win team that missed the playoffs, and the Bears are trending up from a 13-win team that won the division. So again,
Yeah,
not to say that
to
they're going to be
me,
that great again, but what I'm saying is that one of them is already better, and so they're also
but
trending
here's
up.
the thing.
Then
One has a better defense and still does. One has better weapons and still does. The real question is Kyler what everybody expected him to be, and now he has elite talent around him? If so, that's
sure,
a scary team. We saw flashes from Caleb. But can Caleb go into this year? This is a big question. It really is to me. Can he go into this year and play like he was in the fourth this season all game long?
Absolutely.
If so, they're scary. If not, and you're playing a team like the Vikings, you may be too far down to come back.
Whenever you've got a coach that good and you've got a guy with that much talent that's been projected that well for his whole
I
career,
feel like
listen,
he will be. I feel like he will be fine, but we haven't seen it yet.
he had a major jump from year 1 to year 2, and yes, you're right, it was inconsistent, but a major, major jump. The next major jump isn't playing better, it's being more consistent. That's what it's gonna be, and yes, I believe that's gonna happen.
That's partially true, but also if you're going to be an elite quarterback in this league, right? If your game is throwing, right? Jalen Hurts, I think, is a borderline elite quarterback in this league. I get his numbers don't look like it the same as others, but that
Well,
we're
and
not
the
going to
eye
have that
test doesn't
argument
look like it. He doesn't throw the ball well other than deep. But
anyway. The point I'm trying to make is that um 17 game season, he still didn't throw for 4K.
again, now part of that also was because the culture that Ben Johnson wanted to establish and that he brought directly from the
Oh,
Lions
there's
is
another trade the Texans are picking.
yeah.
So Buffalo traded.
Yeah, which is interesting. Let me pull it up on Twitter with Schefter. Um oh, we just traded up with San Fran too to 27 for 30 and 90.
So did we do that and then the Texans then did it because they were like that we're fighting for the same guy? Did we
Possibly.
just trade and not going to get the player we wanted?
I mean, maybe not. Or maybe we were trying I mean, it's definitely possible. Let's say
Because that's concerning.
hold on.
If we traded and it was to get a player the Texans wanted,
No,
so the
the
Texans.
theirs went through before ours, so I don't think so.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that makes me feel better then, because then it could have been the Buffalo giving us the finger.
Okay, they needed that. They needed guard, interior D line for sure. They got Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, another one of those guys that was kind of borderline first round, not first round. Definitely a top 35 to 40 pick for sure. But Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, that was definitely
I
positional
mean, they're
value,
clearly
positional
going
need.
all in on protecting Stroud at this
Of
point.
course, absolutely, and you needed to. For the Texans, they traded 26 and 91 um, for the Bills to get 28, 69, and 167. So the Bills move back slightly in the first round, move up significantly in the third, and then also get another probably fifth or sixth.
So we're not going to be on the clock long here. If we traded, we already know what we want.
And we traded number 30 and 90 for 27. So
I don't like giving up that 90 pick.
I mean, but again, it's you're trading a third for a guy that you probably really like. So I'm okay with it.
I mean, at this point, I'm hoping it's McCoy or Terrell.
McCoy still being there is interesting. I mean, for sure, absolutely.
I had
Especially if
us
you're
picking
trying
at
to. What
30.
this pick was is it shows me you're probably trying to jump KC, so you're probably trying to take a DB. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
Yeah,
definitely possible.
at 30, what I had us doing in the mock draft was getting Denzel Boston from Washington.
That's who I took as well. Now, the fact that you took two receivers, I don't necessarily hate it, but I didn't find it likely.
I was like going all in on just being an offensive team is what I was hoping.
That's
Because
fair.
now we have a defensive minded coach though, so if we can build a strong defense, that
Who did
means
we take
something.
at 12? Did we take a Ruben Bain? No, he went to the. Who did we take?
No,
Oh, we took Caden Proctor. That's right.
oh, yeah, we took the tackle.
Now, I do think that that makes it more likely to be a receiver, like in the sense of like I would be less surprised at two offensive players being offensive line and receiver
And
than
I
two
wouldn't want
receivers.
Denzel Boston at this point. I would want Omar Cooper Jr. if that's what we did.
That's fair. Now Denzel Boston is massive, big body, pure X guy. I
Yeah,
mean, he's like 6'4". But
yeah, that's true. That's why I like him. But
um, I'm okay either way. But I do think this is probably DB makes the most sense to me.
I mean, with McCoy still there, I don't know how you can't take him.
Let me pull up the draft really quickly. I mean, like, there's plenty of guys that it could be. Um, could be Jermon McCoy, could be Avion Terrell, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., kind of the guys you also said. But I mean, there's so many different directions to go here. It'll be interesting. I love the draft. This is fun. I hate it whenever we have to put it on the field afterwards because it normally doesn't go too well for us. But um, you know, let's look best available. Who's all still available? Keldrick Falk still available as well. We could go edge. Peter Woods,
But we kind of dismantled our secondary last season
Colton
or in the
Hood.
offseason.
Yeah, no, I mean absolutely. That's why I wouldn't.
I mean, but Bolton Hood isn't as good as McCoy, so
True, but he doesn't have the injury concern, right? So
yeah, I had Hood going to the Seahawks in 32, but
also, I really don't expect the Seahawks to make that pick. The Seahawks only have like 4 or 5 total draft picks in this draft. And obviously we didn't necessarily do trades in our draft picks, but that if there's ever a trade spot, that's when I would expect it to be. Like I don't expect the Seahawks to make that pick. We'll see,
that's
but
fair.
I would expect them to trade out just to get some more depth later in the class. And obviously they have that luxury. They've got a great roster. So I think it also depends though, because like if Jermon McCoy and Avion Terrell both go off the board before 32, I think that makes it more likely that they trade out. But if one of them's
32
still
to
there,
55,
huh?
32-55. Nuggets Wolves.
Oh, wow. Nuggets up?
No.
Wolves, I meant.
3 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, 3
wow.
minutes left in the second.
Man. I mean, if you're the Nuggets, right? And obviously in this series as a Thunder fan, all I'm rooting for is that this series is long. Obviously,
Yeah,
my preference would be Wolves make it out. Duh. Um, but like I'm just rooting for the series to go long. Um, if
right, because all you
you're
have to do is make Ant inefficient, and they can't beat us, which we obviously have the talent to do.
right. Um, let's see. Wow. I mean, he's good. Chris Johnson's good. It's interesting.
I didn't have him as a first round pick.
No, I know. He's a big body. Let me pull up his profile. Um,
Sometimes it worries me when you get a guy from a school like that. Like, who did he guard? You know, like
again,
I know who
it's
Gerald I know who Jeremy McCoy guarded.
well, sure, but I think that the thing is right is that
Like,
you
they're showing
start.
footage of him against the Boise State receiver now. Great.
But I guess my point is that a lot of the times in that sense, it doesn't really matter who you were guarding. It matters more about the
So,
tape.
obviously, the Bills knew who they were taking because 'cause they've already got their pick in.
It matters the tape and
Okay, 0% chance that Kansas City doesn't take McCoy. I will be shocked if
I
they don't.
mean, that sounds good, but then the question becomes like,
Wait, Buffalo traded with New England.
wow,
What are they trading up for?
probably a lineman, honestly. Either a lineman or maybe it could be Keldrick Falk,
Yeah.
who the Chiefs
At this
also could have
point,
taken.
that's a good pick because I had him at 23 to the Eagles originally.
Buffalo, wow. Buffalo's haul is crazy because Buffalo traded back with the Patriots to get 31 and 125. So now in the last like 5 minutes or so, the Bills have gotten, hold on, the Bills have traded 26, 28, and 91, right? For 69, uh, for 31, 69, 125, and 167. So they just turned effectively 2 picks, right? 26 and 91 into 4, right? 31, 69, 125, and 167. So, I mean, that's good for the Bills. Caleb Lomu, left tackle out of Utah, really good player. Um, you're protecting Drake May. I mean, and that's invaluable, right? At that point, if you're the Patriots, the trade up is probably trading up to jump the Niners, who are probably looking at a post Trent Williams replacement sooner rather than later, just because he's old, he's injury prone, and he barely got a contract done, or has he even gotten the contract done? I don't remember.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Okay,
He
yeah.
signed
So
a 2-year deal, I think.
yeah, but anyways, that doesn't really give you much security if you're the Niners, especially again if there's injuries, then Caleb Lomu can just come in and uh just play right
What is
away.
he
So
doing on the screen? He was dancing in
It's
his
weird.
that was very weird.
But yeah, if you're the Thunder, you're definitely just rooting for this series to go long. But obviously, you would like it if the Wolves win it. Um, but anyways, in that scenario, if you're the Nuggets,
Well, hold
obviously
on. I don't know that I like that because I would rather the Spurs and the Nuggets have to battle it out.
agreed, agreed. But what happens if the Timberwolves just make it to the conference finals? Right? Again, not what I'm picking to happen, but what if? You know what I mean? And then you don't have to play either one of them. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, that's fair, I guess, but
that's
I don't think
anyways. I don't expect the Timberwolves even to get out of this series necessarily, but that's what I'm saying. I just want the series to go as long as possible. I would prefer the Wolves to get out of it just because I'd prefer to play the Wolves in the conference finals, right? But again, you're right. If you're telling me right now the Wolves have no chance to make the conference finals, then yes, I would rather the Nuggets play the Spurs in the second round because I'd rather them beat each other up, right? But I don't know. Anyways, in this
Chiefs pick is
scenario,
in. It's gotta be McCoy.
if
Has
you're
to
the
be.
Nuggets and you just want to win the series, right? Obviously, you want to win every game possible. But this isn't even the end of the world, right? Again, this game still isn't over, I guess. But this isn't the end of the world. You lost home court in the first
They're
two
down
games.
20 right now.
Sure,
Almost
you lost home court in the first two games. You just got to get it back, right? So you just got to split 3 and 4. Obviously, you'd love to win them both, but you just got to split. If you go back and you win game 4 and then it's tied 2-2 going back home for game 5, you're fine, right? So now you go down 3-1, and now we're having different conversations, right? But for now, the Nuggets are fine. And again, they're down 22, which is a lot, but who knows? Also, Nikola Jokic, and I'm not watching this game right now because we're doing the draft and we're covering it, and I'll go back and watch it later.
I mean, I'm watching it,
I'm definitely
but
gonna watch the second half, but I'll go back and watch it later. Um, but Nikola Jokic right now, eye test, or at least on paper, 4 of 14, 1 of 6 from deep, and 4 turnovers. What that
well,
reads like again is
the
Rudy
shot he took
Gobert.
right before they scored that last 2 was him forcing up a 3 with the guy right in his face. It was
But
terrible. It
again, that's what
airballed.
I'm saying is that what that reads to me without watching much of the game is again Rudy Gobert, 4-time DPOY, showing why he's a 4-time DPOY.
I mean,
He's
Rudy
been
Gobert wasn't
phenomenal.
on him just now.
Maybe
It wasn't him
that
guarding
maybe
him.
that play. I'm saying in the game in general. Um, and again, I'm not watching it, so maybe I guess that's not true. But I don't see why they would change up
I mean, it
their
probably is true overall,
yeah. I don't know why they would change up their strategy that drastically when it worked,
but
right?
he was out on the perimeter. That's why it wasn't Rudy on
Which
that
makes sense,
particular.
right? Like Rudy is not trying to follow him everywhere. He's trying to lock down the paint, which is where Nikola Jokic is the most efficient. And at the end of the day, for what it's worth, Nikola Jokic is a good shooter, and he can beat you from three. There's games where he just gets hot and it's over,
Yeah,
right?
but this was not an open shot. It was a
No,
terrible
no.
shot.
Sure, sure. But I'm saying like there are games where he can get hot from three and he'll just beat you that way. But at the end of the day, because of how great he is at finishing inside and how he's literally just insanely stupidly efficient, like borderline most efficient player of all time inside the paint, right? Whenever you're talking about that, if possession for the Nuggets, no matter what kind of three it is, even if it's open, if a possession for the Nuggets ends with a Nikola Jokic 3-point attempt, that's a win for the defense, right? Like again, it might go in, right? But that's a win for the defense because of how good he is when he steps inside. So at the end of and as of now, what did I say? He's 1 of 4, 1 of 6. I think 1 of 6 is what I said from three. Like every single one of those 6 shots, even the one that went in, is a win for the Timberwolves defense. So I think that's just how you got to guard him. You got to like play physical with him inside, and then anytime he steps outside and he gets tired, so he just takes the shot. That's a win. So it's an interesting series for sure. Now here's the question: did the Bills select at 31, or did they trade back a third time?
I mean, clearly there's nothing right here they're overly enthused about.
Well, and if teams are going to keep shoving you draft picks, like I said, you just turned 2 picks into 5, right? Like, good, good for you. It's a solid strat if you don't have a guy that you're like falling in love with, or that maybe
I
you
mean,
think is still going to
if
be
we
there.
could get another pick there, I'd be open to it because there's a lot of guys right now still available I would take.
I'm never okay with just giving the Bills more bodies, but sure. Jamad McCoy here. If you're the Chiefs and you come away with Mansour Delane and Jamad McCoy, who are the 1 and 2 corners in this draft, right after you just trade Trent McDuffie, like, what is the league doing if we let the Chiefs do that? I mean,
Has to be him.
nope. Peter Woods. That's a good player. So this is what I was telling you about when we did our mock draft episode.
I know, but your best player on defense is at that same
Well,
position. That
how
kid
old
can
is
play
he?
too.
How
I
old
don't
is
know.
he? Like 35?
No,
Close. Not
no,
much younger than that. 33 at absolute youngest.
I don't think so.
Okay, he's 31, but that's still getting up there for a interior defensive lineman. But here's my thing with Peter Woods. Peter Woods has a ton of talent. Peter Woods is a guy. I told you this when we did our mock draft.
I'm saying he's not talented, but they've got to be
Hold
able
on,
to guard guys.
hold on. Well, they already drafted a corner at number 6, and that's not to say that they're not going to draft more later on. But here's the thing with Peter Woods, that could have just been like the talent is so overwhelming that they wanted to take him there.
Championship could have traded their pick to the Jets.
Okay,
They're going to get McCoy.
maybe. And if that's the case, and you just drafted Kenyon Sadiq at 16 when we thought they should have taken Jermad McCoy, and you get Jermad McCoy anyways at 30, plus you got David Bailey at 2, that's a great, great draft for the Jets in that scenario. Anyways, Peter Woods, after not this last year college football, but the year before, right? So 2024 college football. After that year, Peter Woods was viewed as like a top 10 pick in the draft because he was dominant and so good. And then he went back to school and in 2025 still had a pretty good individual year, but Clemson as a team had a really down year, so his draft stock kind of fell, but he's still a phenomenally talented player. So him falling to 30 is a great, or 29 is a great value pick there. Again, the year before he would have gone top 10 for sure. So to come
If
out of
the
this
Jets get
draft,
McCoy here, then I don't like to say it, but that'll mean the Jets have had a pretty good draft.
no, agreed. Absolutely. Like I said, if you get David Bailey and then Kenyon Sadiq and then Jermon McCoy, who at 30, who again we thought they were going to take at 16, then that's a great draft. 2 great defensive
I mean,
players,
so it'd
day
be the
one
third
starters,
team,
and
by
a
the
tight end.
way.
So the Niners, when they traded 30 to the Jets, got 33. So the 101 in the second round and 179. Omar Cooper Jr. Just getting help. Listen, I mean,
I mean, God, Sadiq and him,
and
that's
then you're gonna
pretty.
probably get a top end quarterback in next year's draft. You're gonna get maybe Arch, maybe Dante Moore out of Oregon, one of those kind of guys. That could be a good off. Plus, you add that to Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall with a new contract, presumably. Like that could be a really good offense.
Weird though, when you consider they didn't even have a pick last year and they had access to some legitimate secondary help, and they did not
Yeah, I
execute.
mean, and that's fair. But again, the Jamad
It's not a
McCoy,
bad pick. The guy's a great
yeah,
receiver.
and as we're
Just
clearly seeing, oh, what a play! This play was stupid. Oh my
that was the
gosh.
best catch of the football season,
Oh my
probably
gosh.
for
And
college.
and that's an NFL catch too. You got 2 feet.
Yeah, it's an NFL catch, and
Um,
that was a game winner. Don't forget that was a
yeah, no,
walk
no, no.
off.
I know. Now here's the other thing too.
He misses that pass, they may not even made the playoffs at that
I
point.
I said this way earlier in the show, right? That Jermod McCoy's knee concern injury, right, was not just his ACL, but now it came out recently that there is more of a knee injury that might need more procedure. That is, it's really clearly turning teams off. Like his talent is there, but how far does he fall? Does he fall second round, third round? Like how far does
Who
he
we talking
fall,
about?
Jermod McCoy? Like it's crazy right now, but clearly
I
teams are
mean,
scared of it.
I did have the Seahawks picking a corner, but it was his counterpart. and Hood.
So much like the Bills, that was the second trade back for the Niners. So the Niners,
They may
because
trade again.
they traded with us, right? So the Niners,
Or they traded out of the first round at this point, so yeah.
yeah, they traded.
But will Buffalo, because there's clearly nothing here that Buffalo is
So
trying
they
to get.
traded 27 to get 30 and 90, and then traded 30 for 33 and 179, right? So the Niners turned 27, right, into 33, 90, and 179. So I mean that's good for the Niners. They turned uh, one pick into four, much like the Bills turned two picks into five.
Yeah. It's saying Titans on the clock. Did the Bills just trade to the
Oh my
Titans?
gosh, did they? Or no, no, no,
No,
no. The
correct?
Bills pick is probably in. The Titans probably traded up with the Seahawks, is my assumption,
Maybe.
and so then they're on the clock. Is my guess. Let me pull up Schefter again.
Okay, Bills have to go. I can't believe McCoy falls out of the first round.
But again,
He'll be a
the knee
bargain in a
injury is
second.
scary. Nope. Tennessee traded back into the first round to Buffalo's pick at 31. So the Bills traded back three times. They're going to turn
I
two
mean, it's
picks.
not surprising. There's clearly nothing here they wanted.
I know, but they're going to turn two picks into like six, which is crazy.
So the question is, who did they want? They
So here's
obviously
the
did it
thing for
for
the Jets right now. They just brought in three first round picks, right? David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. They have three first round picks next year, too.
right now. The two winners of day one are the Jets and Cowboys.
Absolutely. And like I said, the Jets have three first round picks next year, which what that really means is that the Jets are slightly better next year than we expect, and they end up with the sixth pick. If they trade three firsts for number one, they're getting their quarterback. You know what I mean? And then it's not going to matter. So, especially if you get lucky and you're the Jets and like the Titans or somebody like that ends up at number one who's probably not taking, or the Raiders or
And let's,
whoever ends
let's
up at
not
number
forget,
one, and then they're not taking
depending on the
quarterbacks anyways.
coaching in New York,
You say
if
what?
they can get Gino, and let's not forget, Gino wasn't a complete scrub in Seattle.
No, for sure. He was good. No,
If
Jalen was really good in Seattle.
whatever the offensive coordinator could do with Gino, with some of the talent they're adding right now, they're not winning the division. They're not a playoff
That's
team,
what I'm saying.
but they
If
could
you
win
get
8
like
or
the best
9.
of both worlds as the Jets, where you get like a
They
decent
could be
Geno,
putting us as the worst team in the East pretty easily. Although I think we've had a good day.
solid.
I'm not mad at it. What did they pick earlier?
They took. Did they take? Oh, they took Carnell Tate. The Titans took Carnell Tate at 4. Keldrick Falk. That's a
That's
great player for Robert Sala's defense. Great player. Listen, he's a run setting.
Yeah, I
He's
mean, I had it going at 23.
he's an edge setting, run defending edge out of Auburn. People are scared. People are scared because his sack number production in college wasn't as high as you might like for an elite edge prospect. But listen, he is a good, skilled pass rusher, and more importantly, he sets the edge and is a dominant run defender. We saw what he did against OU, and listen, Auburn did not win that game against OU because OU made Jackson Arnold look like an absolute statue that couldn't throw the football and couldn't run, and we sacked him 10 times, which was an OU program record. But he and that Auburn defense made OU's defense not offense not look good either. Like it was a defensive stalwart game, even though we had 10 sacks in that game, and they still almost won because Kendrick Falk was dominant. Like I think we had 10 sacks in that game. I think Auburn had like 5 or 6, and we couldn't do anything offensively. So Kendrick Falk's a great player, great player. And again, you've got Robert Saleh, who his only other head coaching stint wasn't good, but it's because he was coaching the Jets, right? And again, he's a great defensive mind. We've seen that in
But the
San Fran.
defense was great.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. We've seen that in San Fran, and even when he was the coach of the Jets, the team wasn't good, but the defense was always good. And the defense fell off a cliff whenever they fired him.
It's a good fit there just because obviously they feel like they have their quarterback, right?
Absolutely. You have your quarterback, you just got him receiver help.
Yeah, that's what Saleh couldn't get right.
Right. Right. And for what it's worth, you have a guy as an offensive mind that is great at coordinator in Brian Daboll, right? Like didn't work out as a head coach necessarily. A lot of that's the Daniel Jones effect, which is partially his fault, right? But you've got a great offensive mind at coordinator. So you've got Cam Ward, you've still got Tony Pollard, you drafted Carnell Tate, you've got Calvin Ridley, brought in Wan'Dale Robinson, and then now you're gonna shore up this defense with Keldrick Falk. Like, I mean, the Titans, again, I don't expect them to win the division, but they could be competitive. They could win 6 or 7 games, which that puts them probably 2 or 3 games off of the lead in that division, honestly, because that division's not great at the top. It's competitive, but it's not great. The winner of that division is probably a 10 or 11 win team. So if you win
I
seven,
disagree with that this year. I think the Jags are gonna take a big leap this year.
I mean, they already took a big leap. So is a big
I
leap
think it's
winning
gonna be early.
15
I
games?
think they're
They're
gonna
not going to win
dominate that
15
division.
games.
They're gonna dominate that division, though.
I mean, they did lose Travis Etienne, so that's not nothing.
I it's not nothing, but I have full confidence in that head coach and what
Agreed.
he's done with.
I do. I do too. I do
I
as
think
well.
that just continues to get better. Their defense was pretty good. They're gonna be tough to beat.
Duval.
Right. Alright, Seattle's pick is in, and then we're gonna sign off.
Trevor Lawrence.
This has gotta be McCoy. You can't let this player fall out
I
of the
am
first round.
shocked that they're actually picking here. I really thought they were going to trade out, but maybe nobody wanted to trade back in. And this is the other thing about Keldrick Falk is because he is so good at run defending. You can, and he's big bodied. You can play him inside a little bit too. Like you can play him as like a DT as well in certain
Well, and you can run some stunts with
certain
them.
sets. Yeah,
Things like that.
and they just now showed a highlight of him getting a sack on Stetson Bennett. Or not, what am I saying? Not Stetson Bennett. Holy crap. Stetson Bennett ain't been there in a minute. Whoever, Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, where he was playing defensive tackle, lining up there at least. But he's 6'6", 284. So, like, he's massive. Keldrick Falk is so big. Pause. But Keldrick Falk is phenomenal. They've got him listed at 6'5" and 7/8, 276. With a 34 and 3/8 reach. Like he's so good.
That's a
He's a
good pick for sure.
massive dude. So that seems like a good pick for them. You come out of the
Yeah,
draft.
I don't see any way that this isn't a defensive pick for the
No,
40 or
absolutely.
for
I
the
think it is a defensive. The only slight outside possibility would be the second running back comes off the board to replace Kenneth Walker, but there's not a great guy there. Jeremiah Love's
I mean, there's still
backup.
some wide receivers that like Denzel Boston would be interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. But
To be the
Jeremiah
number
Love.
2, right?
Say what?
To be your number 2.
Yeah, or even like 3 for a year behind him and Cooper Kupp, or 4 even behind him, Cooper Kupp, and Rashid Shaheed, and then,
If you
whatever.
the Cup is at 3 in that slot with
Yeah,
JSN and Boston
absolutely.
out wide, that's pretty
But,
scary.
uh,
That
Jadarian
becomes a
Price
great receiver room.
Jadarian Price is most people's, like, consensus number 2 running back in the class. He was Jeremiah Love's backup at Notre Dame this year. He was really, really good. He's got a lot of tools. Most people don't expect him to be a first round pick, and he's probably not going to be, but there's an
What 2
outside
Hall of Fame
possibility.
running backs played with each other in college?
True, true.
I'm asking.
Oh, you said who? I mean, that's easy. It's Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas.
Fair enough. Who was the starter?
Thurman Thomas. Well, for some of it, Barry Sanders also has the record for most touchdowns in a season, and I think maybe even in a career. But
But I don't think Thurman was there anymore.
no, I think they were together for a year, and Thurman Thomas was the starter because he was the senior. But yeah.
Man, I really like that Sadiq pick.
So they're doing another Make a Wish. Oh, I'm an idiot. Never mind. The pin on his jacket is the Make a Wish logo. I was like, why does this kid have a Cowboys logo on his jacket if he's making the Seahawks pick? But it's the Make a Wish logo. I'm sorry, guys. That was dumb. It was a dumb question. I was about to say, good for him to make a pick, but why didn't they let him do the Cowboys? But that's the Make a Wish logo. My bad. Also, while they're talking about this, shout out Dylan, but okay, I'll pose this question after he makes the picks. They're giving it to him. And then we'll sign off. Bro is swallowing the mic right now, but shout out to Dylan. Jadarian Price, what did I say there? Hey, number 2 running back off the board. I didn't expect it, but I mean, you're getting your Kenneth Walker replacement, and then Zach Charbonnet is probably going to miss most, if not all, of this year. I mean, I think it was towards ACL, and it was in like week 17 or something like that, like late in the year.
I
So he's
don't
not going to
hate
play
it.
this
I
year.
just look at the fact that you can get a lot of guys that will be successful in that system with that offensive line and with the talent on the outside. And it's not a wasted pick or anything, but I just think when you really don't, because they still don't have a roster hole, right? I just think when that's the case, you take the best player available.
I would like to pose the question to you though, that if you think that there's not a hole, wouldn't that mean that your biggest hole on the roster is running back? Because it is a legitimate hole.
Yeah, I won't
It
argue
is a
that.
legitimate hole at this point because you did lose Kenneth Walker, and if you just lost Kenneth Walker and still had Zach Charbonnet, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But
You
you
can go get
but you
somebody in
don't
free
have
agency.
Sharb because he's
You
gonna
can
be
do
out the whole year.
something. Hold on, no, you can do something. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's a wasted pick. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. But I do think when you look at what was still available because of the way this first round shook out, that someone like McCoy or Terrell or there was a lot of great McDonald.
That's
There was a lot of great players still out there. Howell,
that's fair.
Boston,
I
like
do really
so.
like
My only and even Hood, right? So I guess my point was obviously their defense was elite last year. Their offense was elite. Like the team was elite, and it's still the same team with the exception, to your point, of Walker. And so I don't hate it. I just think when you're that stacked, you can figure that position out, right? You don't need a world beater there. And I don't know. To me, best player available, but I won't say it wasn't a need exactly, but
fair.
I feel like there were
I
other
would say it
ways
was
to fill it.
definitely their biggest immediate need, but I do agree with you that maybe it wasn't necessarily the best overall player available. I do really like Cassius Howell. I thought he was gonna
I think that's definitely true.
I
That
I
it's not
I
the best
think that,
player.
I do really like Cassius Howell. I think that I thought he was gonna sneak into the back end of the first round out of A&M at edge. That would've been kinda big. And
Yeah, I originally had him at 29 to the
I
Chiefs as well.
really, 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 really love Avion Terrell. I am shocked he fell out of the first round. He is slightly undersized at corner, but he's really good. He's got a lot of great ball skills, a lot of great technical skills. And like I've mentioned before, AJ Terrell is his brother. So again, not a one for one, but AJ Terrell is one of the better corners in the league. So it doesn't hurt necessarily that there's like the genetic thing there. Um,
I mean, there was 3
I
defensive
thought
backs
Avion Terrell
that
was
I
definitely
had
going to go in the
ranked pretty
first.
highly.
I would love to see us trade up for Avion Terrell in the later parts or the earlier parts of the second round. I think that'd be cool.
There were 3, to me, really good, um, secondary players that now fell out. Actually 4. McCoy, Hood, both from Tennessee, Terrell, obviously from, Clemson, and then don't overlook Emmanuel, from Toledo. So, I mean, I had all 4 of them going in the first round. It's
I
such a
agree.
valuable position. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what
I,
happens in
I
the
I
second round,
agree.
so
Here's what I will say.
alright, quickly.
Yeah. Um, I think the biggest story of today, like I said, Cassius Howell falling out, it's interesting. And then Avion Terrell as well, Emmanuel McNeil Warren a little bit too. But those 3 guys falling out is interesting. The fall of Jermod McCoy going from a guy that most people mocked in the 12 to 15 range to out of the first round really just shows how telling and how worried teams are right now about that knee injury. And so I don't know where we see the fall slide, the fall end, the slide in. I mean, like it'll be very interesting to see that tomorrow. Maybe we see it tomorrow. I guess there's a slight potential chance we don't even see that tomorrow in round 2 or 3. I mean, I doubt it, but it'll be interesting to see. So that's the last thing I've got on that. The only other last little tidbit I wanted to leave with,
Very quickly.
yeah, is I saw the odds yesterday, and it was actually hilarious, and obviously neither of them ended up conveying, right? Obviously, we're such crazy favorites in the first round, against the Suns, but did you know that if you did an adjusted alternate, spread in that game and put us as 40 and a half or 39 and a half point favorites and then took us to cover the spread, which means we would have had to win by 40, they gave you worse odds than if you just picked the Suns to win the game, which means they thought it was more likely that we were going to win that game by 40 than the Suns just to win outright by a point, which is crazy.
I
Um,
mean,
with
no shock.
with that last little point and the fact that Dub's going to miss the rest of the series, do we win in 4 or do they take a game?
It's over in 4.
It's over. It's
we're gonna put the hammer down in game
oh,
3, and then it won't matter.
get loud, Oklahoma City. Get loud,
Alright.
get proud. Monday night,
Gen beef,
2
draft
a.m.
edition.
Monday night, 2 a.m. Be there or be square at the airport, welcoming home the boys after a sweep. I will be there.
Gen beef,
J-
draft
brief
edition.
Draft edition, full 3 hours. I mean, I'll cut down slightly, but not by a ton. You're gonna get probably a good 245 out of this podcast. So enjoy every bit of it. Watch it all, please. Watch it to the end.
Alright.
All four of you, or whatever.
Yeah.
So shout out, love you, boys, and girls, I guess.
Follow us on the socials.
Yeah, follow the socials. Yeah, you plug them. You plug them.
TikTok, I guess we're there now.
We are on TikTok,
Obviously on YouTube, we're on the Insta.
Spotify
Are we
too.
on the book? Are we on the book? We're on Spotify?
I mean, we're
Check us out.
we're de facto on the book because Insta, Facebook, Meta, everything I post on
Fair enough.
Instagram ends up on Facebook. I don't know if I don't know how that works. I think it just
Got it.
appears as me on Facebook. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
at Gin Beef Pod on anywhere you get your socials. TikTok, Instagram. There is a Twitter account. I don't really use it, but shout out there.
Mean X.
Sorry, whatever. Spotify.
How old
Er,
are you? Jeez.
Old
Anyway,
enough to call it Twitter.
fair enough.
All right. Anyways, that's all we got for you. This has been the Gin Beef Pod on Friday. So we'll come at you next week with some recap of the 2nd through 7th rounds briefly, and then obviously the rest of whatever happens in the NBA playoffs. So in the first round, we'll probably have some series end by the next time we record. Definitely the Thunder, a couple others maybe. So that's all we got for you today. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next week. Peace.
Bye-bye.